You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Oh, great.
Sweet Jesus. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 195. Yo, that's crazy. 195. We are that close to 200 episodes. What's up, guys? Good to see you, man. Lots going on, I guess you can say, even though it's been super quiet, to be honest with you guys. It's probably like the perfect week to go through your backlog if you haven't been doing so. Me, I've been busy on the work schedule, so I haven't been able to do much anything. But shout out to you guys in the chat. I see you. What's going on? Welcome. I see you, Hustle. What's going on, brother? Thanos, Robert, Mad Gaming, Mass Produce, Briar, Lobo, the fraud in the chat. Iman, what's going on? What's going on? We got Medina, Gaming Night. Talos, what's up? Good to see y'all. Good to see
Lobo
y'all.
the fraud?
Yeah, Lobo the fraud.
Dude, you can we talk about Lobo real quick?
You want to talk about
like Erica's stream?
It's like no.
And straight up, Erica's like, "Oh, I heard that you like changed your name into BitCloud and sent like $50 or something to Alex." And I'm just like, "What?" I was like, "Where is this story coming from?" Like, I didn't send Alex any money whatsoever. And Lobo, like, freaking pretends to be Benji, pretends to be BitCloud, even pretends to be me, and is, like, besmirching my name. Putting, like, false, like, accusations and representation of me donating money to people.
When I saw it, I was sitting there going, okay, who in God's name would be this cringe to do this? Then I saw the profile picture. I'm like, okay, whoever did this clearly is not good with Photoshop because they got the pictures wrong. My picture is seamless. The picture was not seamless. I'm like, okay, who the hell is this? But anyway, it was Lobo. Lobo got caught in 8K. Then I ain't even going to say it. Lobo's a fraud. I'm just going to say that.
It's crazy. Anyway. He doesn't donate that money to the podcast. You know, all stuff.
Oh, man, he went there. Man. Moving away. Moving away from Lobo.
Dude, look, man. My cousin's in the chat today, Robert Hunter.
What's up?
Oh, is he?
Is it?
He's not my cousin.
Oh.
But he could be.
Oh, the Hunter. I see it.
What's up? What's up? Welcome.
I got a couple of Robert Hunters in my family. Seriously.
Move on to this chat, man. Let's move on to this. Well, really move on to this panel. So let's get it, man. Episode 195. Start these intros. We got all the way from the sawing of the, and I ain't gonna say it. All the way from the Solidcast. The host of the Solidcast, really. He finally stepped up. He took over Solidcast.
Yeah, can you take that from your description, please?
I don't have post Solidcast.
It says you're the host and producer of Solidcast. You don't produce shit anymore, BitCloud. From your title.
Oh, damn.
No, but yeah, I'm glad. Listen, I'm trying to get back. I just whatever. I don't need to explain shit, but I just haven't been with it. I haven't been with anything.
Work killing you too.
Anyway. No, it's just not YouTube, just life shit. So I apologize if I've been in and out, leaving, and shit like that. It's a lot of shit going on. But it is what it is. I'm glad to be here with Hunter, and Red Hood and you. So.
Yep. Look at him, just admiring his monitor. Look at this guy. He's been staring at that monitor like a madman.
I mean, that's what you do, BitCloud. You have a PC and you look at the monitor.
You just like really stared at it. I remember you turned it off and you were staring at it, not even lit up. 3 hours straight.
Dude, all BitCloud plays on PC is Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's keep it a buck.
You're right. That's all he does.
Right. Honestly, it's like having like a Porsche and just going like 20 miles per hour.
Right. But he has a 3070.
Did you guys hear something? I thought I heard something. Oh, it's the janitors. Red Hood 420.
Oh, yeah, janitor. Right.
Listen, man. You've been doing good. You've been doing good these past couple of times. I was gonna give you an update. I was gonna get a little bit of an upgrade, going forward. But now I'm thinking about taking that away and just demoting you a little, a little lower.
Demoting me.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I love watching Hunter's expression is like a concerned parent when you call him like all
exactly
shaking his head like
what is going on? Anyway, Red Hood 420. Welcome, brother. Good to see you.
What's up? I don't like honestly. I'm surprised, like, what we're gonna talk about. Honestly, I feel like it's just gonna be Ragnarok, like theories and all that jazz.
Well, that's the thing about this podcast.
Master Chief.
That's the thing about this podcast. This is an open conversation. We have fun. We don't really. We're not tied to one thing. So you know how it is.
Sounds familiar. Oh, did I say that? I thought I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna break your nose. That's what I got. Break your nose. Last but not least, we got Hunter. Hey, next gen. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Okay, boy.
I'm excited. All four of us are here. This is, man. What is there to talk about? There's like
Exactly.
this is like post not E3, and like I don't know. We'll come up with some cool things to talk about. But like, man, aside from like God of War and maybe this Master Chief stuff, like, geez, what a
So
dry
you're
week
not
it's been.
attending, E3. Guess I'll just go. I mean, Gamescom. I say E3.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and I guess we'll start off with that for sure. So we got confirmation, people. Sony said no, they will not be attending Gamescom this year. Is anybody even surprised by this announcement or shocked by this announcement? I mean, granted, they've been very picky and very quiet on a lot of stuff. We're now relying on leakers to give us updates on Ragnarok. So this has led to a lot of speculation.
I think didn't they not attend the last physical show?
So.
Yeah,
I think that they've like historically been in that Jeff Keighley event. Like they've had like one or two small announcements in there, but I feel like they've like withdrawn themselves from GameCon for years now, and so I mean it's not really surprising. But I think what's more surprising really is like there's other publishers like Nintendo pulled out, and who else? There was Activision. I think there was like one more big one that pulled out already. So kind of sucks, man. Like
I feel like these events are just like in a way like not needed anymore for like these publishers or anything like that. I mean, like especially for Sony, right? Because PlayStation, if we look at it, right, their events or showcases usually around September. Why would they like have a presence in late August? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't know, man. Like I think that they don't need it from like a conference and like showing off new things perspective, but I still think like there's extreme value in having these like experiential boosts that they have, right? Where it's like I've been to like Fan Expo here in Toronto, which is like a smaller scale version of Gamescom, and then E3 and stuff like that. And like you can't there's nothing that replicates that experience of like being in the booth and being like immersed in PlayStation everywhere and like having 10 of the latest games like right there for you to play, right? I think what they need to do if they're gonna like pull out of all these events is they gotta start hosting something virtually. Like I know Keeley's done it to a limited degree. I think Xbox has like traditionally done sort of like a hands-on like demo thing where you can download indie games. Usually around the E3 period, you can download like 20 indie games and play the first hour or whatever of them. Like Sony has to do that too. Like, geez, man, like.
I feel like they blew their load, bro. I feel like we've gotten so much, it doesn't seem like a lot, but, for Naughty Dog to show up there, Neil to show up there, have their own event, then go to, the Summer Game Fest thing. And like, I just felt like they've shown a lot more than I've even expected them to show. Because Sony usually just says, when we're ready to talk, we'll talk. So they've shown a lot, in my opinion. Like they've talked a lot, they've done more than they've done before. It's not a lot per se, like, how we used to run things, but
yeah, I think one of the problems, like couple of problems really though, is like before Sony and I think a lot of other publishers too used to tell us about what games are coming out like way in advance, right? Like we used to know like a couple of years before games come out. Now it's like what is Sony even releasing next year? We have no idea really, aside from like probably The Last of Us factions or whatever. But like had they had their E3 showcase and we knew what games are coming out over the next couple of years, then all of those teams could actually produce demos to showcase at these events. But we don't have the E3 show. We don't know what they're showing. So like if they were to be at Gamescom, what would Sony show? What would be playable? The Last of Us Part 1, sure. Is that it? Like
basically.
Are they gonna have that's why they pulled out too, man. It's like they're not announcing things in advance. COVID has like put schedules back. But the other thing that I've read this somewhere, I can't remember what website, but it was actually a pretty good insight into it, is that I think it's going to take time for these companies to come back to these events, because Sony and all these other companies were in this habit of like, okay, every quarter we got to get a new demo of all of our games, right? And so like we got to be ready for like Comic-Con and Fan Expo and E3 and TGS and Gamescom and yada yada yada. But the thing is, like, because COVID it shut everything down, they stopped producing these demos. Like, no publisher had to make demos the last couple of years for these trade shows, and so they just have like nothing ready, right? They used to have like demos in their back pocket where they could just whip it out whenever they wanted and bring it to these shows, but now they got nothing. So they just gotta reboot the whole thing, man, and just like get back on track with events. And I'm trying to stay hype for Sony, and I love Sony, but like, geez, man, like,
it's a little tough, you know.
Yeah, like I don't know what to be like super excited for aside from the third party stuff, which is like,
guys.
Yeah.
Can we cut it out here?
Y'all know why though?
It's super tough. Like, imagine being an Xbox fan. You want to talk about super tough? You're not getting a single exclusive this year, or the year before. Like, I just feel like things are slow for everybody right now, unless you're Nintendo. Like, you know. But once God of War comes out, it'll be right.
Then the conversation changes.
Bro, just fast forward a couple months and everything's going to be... Fast forward a couple months and the conversations are going to just get more interesting because, we're going to get closer to certain games and, right? We go... The summertime is full of dry spells, man. You're going to go through you're going to hit a couple weeks where it's dry or a month. But, we got some shit coming. Like,
I don't want to, like fully change topics, but I was actually thinking to myself, like, there's like the new PlayStation Plus just released, and like obviously Xbox is still like pimping out their Xbox Game Pass, but like the reason why a lot of these services are like not super big on my radar is like exactly like what you're saying. There's so much things that are coming out this fall, but it's like literally everything that I want to play, all the big ones are like not hitting these services, right? They're not. The Last of Us is not going to be in PlayStation Plus. Like God of War won't be in it. The Callisto Protocol won't be in it. What else? Hogwarts Legacy won't be in it.
Yep.
Gotham Knights won't be in it. And I was just like, dude, like these services are great, man. Like they are great. They're great value, all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like if I were to like calculate how much time I'm going to be playing all these games, right, and starting in like September the 1st until the end of the year, it's like 2.5, 3 months probably of like nonstop gaming. And none of these things are hitting the services. So yeah, like I don't. It's just such a weird thing. Like that's why I can't get like super hyped. I know things like the Plague Tale, Requiem is coming to Game Pass, and there's a whole bunch of other games that they announced coming to Game Pass this fall. But it's like Scorn and all that. But those are titles that to me are like awesome, and I want to play them, but they're not like my top.
Must have.
Right?
They're not like the Callisto Protocol where it's like I'm there day one, like as soon as you see it. Like
Yeah. Like that's I've always wondered that with people that sub to these services. Like what happened? Like I was thinking back to like February too, right? When like Elden Ring and Horizon and Sifu came out, right? Like imagine like the new PlayStation Plus was available then, and let's imagine I was subscribing to Game Pass. Like I wouldn't have touched those services for like 6 weeks or more. Like what a waste, man. So I don't know, man. I feel like
that Sniper Elite is good looking. Listen, man. Every time I sign up for Game Pass, I'm paying $1. I got no complaints for Game Pass. It's $1 every time. I cancel it or it runs out and I sign back up and it's like $1 for Game Pass Ultimate. That Sniper Elite went and like came and went, but I'm telling you, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's one of these outstanding games, but it's a good game, bro, and it looks really good. That engine that Rebellion got going, like it's a beautiful engine, bro. Like a lot of people just overlooked that game. I'm not even a Sniper Elite fan. I hated the previous titles, but they got the Shredder's Revenge. They got some stuff for you to play. I mean, as PlayStation, I bought it on PlayStation, but I could have easily played it on Game Pass.
Did you hear though, like what RGT tweeted out though about TMNT?
Xbox
and a lot
players,
of people,
yeah.
A lot of people got offended by it. Like even made a video about RGT, and I was just like, all he did was like just state facts. Yeah. Like 12% of players beat it on Xbox, and then 32% of players beat it on PlayStation. Then I had to check Steam, and it was also 32% beat it on Steam. So
yeah, but isn't like I think that's probably like a two-factor, isn't it? Like from at least just this is probably just the way I think, and I don't have like data to back it up, but I just assume that PlayStation fans in general just play more games and beat more games, not to like offend Xbox players.
Well, and also Steam too. Like it's literally the same percentage for Steam. Like
Yeah.
1-to-1, and then Xbox was like 20% less.
But I'm thinking like, wouldn't part of the reason why be because it is in Game Pass? And I think Game Pass, like, first of all, pretty much like any good game that comes in the Game Pass, if you have a subscription, you should download it. Like, I'm sure a lot of them do, right? So you probably have lots of people that are like not even like super interested in the game downloading it, which would reduce the amount of, like, the percentage amount of people that beat it, right? I think like, to me, that's what I think it is. It's like if PlayStation like suddenly gave it out for like PlayStation Plus for free, and I would expect that the percentage completion would drop because you'd have a whole bunch of like people not even interested, or like casuals or whatever that just downloaded. But I mean, like, ultimately, regardless of the situation, I mean, like, that completion is just not good, and it speaks volumes to even like the value of the service. And it's like, sure, like, we can expect the percentage would drop, but at the same time, that means these people aren't playing these games as long as PlayStation gamers are. Like, people are just like,
a lot of them
maybe
are doing,
playing
like,
a couple
what you do
hours,
with
and like
when you boot it up and then go to the next thing type of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know you don't watch a movie to complete. Exactly the same. Yeah, I can see that.
Exactly. But the weird thing that like people always compare to Netflix, like, you see it all the time. But the other thing that I find, like, that's such a difference between these is, like, with video games, like, maybe you guys can let me know how you guys game, but I usually pick like maybe 3 or 4 games that I play in a month, and that's it, man. Like, I'll pick a game, I'll play it for a week or 2 weeks, and I just focus in until I beat it, and maybe New Game Plus it or whatever, and then I'm on to the next one. And so, like, by the end of the month, I played maybe 3 or 4 games. But I subscribe to Netflix and Disney Plus, and like, the whole point, the reason why having hundreds of shows and hundreds of movies is like valuable in those kinds of services, it's because you just, like, you flip through everything, man. Like, I'll look at Netflix and I'll watch like 1 episode of this show, 1 episode of that show, 1 episode of this show, watch a movie, my wife will watch an episode, and like, by the end of the month I might have consumed like 25 different things from these services, right? Versus like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So that's why, like, I still am trying to figure out, like, it's just gonna, like, expand further, because like gaming is consumed way differently than movies. And Sony was like bragging it, like, I tweeted out because I was like, oh, it seems newsworthy, but like, Sony announced that they would have 700 games for PlayStation Plus, and they actually exceeded that. It's like 800 plus, right? So it's like, wow, cool, man, they exceeded it. That's awesome. But at the same time, I'm just like, 800, man, like, my backlog is already probably 800 games long. Do I need 800 games? More?
Hey, man, options. Enjoy it. That's the problem, though. Again, hey, it goes back as far as even the Final Fantasy situation. I already know Red Hood saw that stream. It was wild.
I actually, like, watched it during work and stuff, because I saw there was a stream for it. So I watched it. Like I said, like, overall, the whole opinion on that situation is, like, if you boycott the game, that's your right. For Crisis Core Reunion, it's counterproductive.
It's very counter, like, because
then it'll just show where, not like looking at the numbers, and then if the game, after the trilogy's finished and they decide to port, if they see those numbers really low, then there's no point in port.
Yeah, exactly. You have to support,
unless they get a really big bag from Phil Spencer. And that would change something.
I don't even think that's enough, though, for them at this point. I mean, yeah, sure, that might convince them to drop a game or two there, but it's like, at the end of the day, they still want their game to sell. They want that bag from, the game sell. They want the game to do well. If the game's not selling well on the platform, then, I mean, why would they bring the whole collection over there? So, I know a lot of people were mad about it. It was like, I'm done with Square Enix. Square Enix did us dirty, and I'm just like, have you guys ever bought a Square Enix game?
Who's saying they did them dirty?
Xbox dudes, because
Square Enix don't even fuck with you guys.
Final Fantasy coming to PlayStation. It's like, and also Sony's looking to lock them down anyway, because I can see
Big Cloud. This is the problem when you own one console.
Pretty much, you
cry and whine. Like, if you have both consoles, you're not affected by none of this. Now, you're affected by the politics of it, but this shit shouldn't affect you.
Yeah. And I mean, again, we were just talking about this not too long ago with the whole Bethesda thing. Was anybody screaming boycott Bethesda or Microsoft when they bought Bethesda?
Nope. You get the
No, we were
game,
just saying we didn't
like
play it.
literally, you just get the game on the system.
Just get
that's
the game
on
on the system.
or
That's
get
it.
a PC. That's
throw
it.
Doom into this. Dude was like, "Oh, we got Doom, we got Elder Scrolls, we got blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's great. It's a reason to get an Xbox."
I mean, Square's always they've thrown Microsoft a bone here and there, but what I'm saying is that they've always been primarily, in my opinion, lined up with PlayStation. Yeah, in the beginning with Nintendo, but I'm saying like I've always looked at Square as like one of them relationships with PlayStation, just like an Insomniac. Not maybe to that extent, but it's like in Bethesda, I always looked at as an Xbox. They were in bed with Xbox without officially saying it. They all that is just like, hey, they've been having sex and they finally came out and said it. Like that's all that Xbox and Bethesda thing is. And like it's cool, like, but Fallout is a huge game that people love to play on every platform. It was more of a hit, I would say, with like Fallout's a huge game. Like you guys can joke and cry and make fun of it, but that game is a big game and it sells a lot of copies.
Yeah.
So I don't particularly like the game, but that was a big deal, bro. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at on the whole thing. I'm not even like over the moon over those situations. I saw it, I was like, okay, well, there's that. Just like, who cares at this point? Who really cares? So there you guys go. The Final Fantasy drama, and of course Sony not attending Gamescom. What else did it go over? Oh yeah, God of War Ragnarok. This game has been on everybody's mind. Cory Barlog finally reactivated his Twitter, so he's back on Twitter, showcasing everything.
The man's
talking
team
about
everybody,
stuff.
bro.
I know. Everybody thought he was done. No, this man reactivated his Twitter. Ever since he reactivated his Twitter, the speculation for the game has been nonstop. And then when you throw in a certain insider who's gained a lot of traction, he calls himself the Snitch.
Dude, I really want to know what position he is.
I don't know
like,
what he
like
is.
knowing Xbox news, like
Yeah,
PlayStation stuff, like Square stuff. Like and the way he does it, it's like pretty close to when the announcement happens, right?
Yeah.
He did it with Square.
Well, dude,
he did it with Xbox and PlayStation as well.
Like, I mean, one theory that I'll throw out there is like, do we know it's one person?
Yeah.
It could.
True.
It could. There could be like a few different insiders. Like there's been a whole bunch that we've seen on Twitter. Some of them are not nearly as reliable as others, but like maybe some of the bigger ones just got together and were like, hey dude, like because I know like some of these dudes that like post these leaks, they get like a ton of like
traction.
Traction, but also like kickback, right? Like sometimes they get it wrong, and then there's like endless memes and like all this stuff. So I was just thinking, like, opening up some kind of like snitch account where they can just kind of like collaborate all their insider stuff and just post it on there. It's like,
True.
Then if they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter because people are going to be mad at like, some like not an actual person, just some random dude called the snitch. But so far, like, I think he's actually had 100%. Oh wait, not 100%, because I think he said that Kojima's game was going to be showing up. I think.
He just said overdose, and he didn't say anything else.
Yeah, overdose.
No, but he responded to Jeff Keighley. Jeff.
Oh no,
Keighley
that was Roberto Serrano.
No.
Because
Jeff,
let me just make sure.
Jeff Keighley had tweeted about how he just got an email that day for like an awesome exclusive premiere, and then the snitch responded with overdose.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So he was basically saying that Kojima emailed him and gave him like the first teaser for his new game, which actually didn't end up panning out. So
yeah, that one right there, I would see him saving that if he did get it.
Yeah,
that would be for Game Awards, if anything.
So the Jeff Keighley one says there's nothing like the feeling of seeing a girl world premiere arrive in your inbox. It's a game over. That's what he tweeted.
What? He said it's a game over?
Yeah.
Game over.
Oh, that was because that was that was part of the Kojima rumors, right? Like there was rumors of like somebody had watched a trailer of like Overdose, and then at the very end of the trailer, it, like predominantly on the screen, it said "Game Over." That was like right when all that rumor was going. So that's where the "Game Over" was coming from, or at least what people are assuming. But even still, like he could have actually been right for that, and then because Overdose got leaked, like maybe Kojima changed his plans, right? Things always happen, right? Like he could have just backed out for whatever reason, so it could have actually been on a show or intended to be on a show. But aside from that, I think he's had a perfect record, and like whatever the snitch says is like you take it home as gospel, and it's like
this point
it's gonna happen, right?
And he doesn't wait like 6 or 8 months for it to like come true. I feel like he does it near like the announcement happens, like really close to the announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes me kind of think that he could be connected like high up in media, because like a lot of these big sites like the IGNs and the GameSpots of the world, like for some of these announcements they get embargoed news. Like the publishers will reach out and be like, hey, like we're not going to tell anyone else, like shh, between us, like we're going to reveal this big game tomorrow, here's the press release, like make sure that your news article, like that's why you notice like sometimes when games get announced, like 2 minutes later you see there's an article on IGN. Yeah, it was like because it was pre-written and they got a heads up for it, right? So like it could be someone up that high that gets these like NDAs, and but man, like that's super risky.
I'm happy for PlayStation though. At least we got an insider that's accurate. I mean,
really accurate. No, I was gonna say another person's name.
Yeah.
I should just stop.
Although I guess like so far there's been no Nintendo, so maybe he doesn't have connections there.
Well, Nintendo really is. It's tough for Nintendo. Nintendo's very.
You don't like Foxy Big Cloud? He's a good insider.
Oh my god!
Keep the Foxy.
I wasn't gonna bring that one. I was gonna say Robert Serrano. Yeah, that dude gets so many things wrong to the point where I'm just like, I don't know how people just keep like thinking he's getting anything accurate.
The thing was the funniest thing I've seen.
Like, it's like better luck next time or something.
Yeah, I was just laughing. Yeah, better luck next time.
Yeah. Hey Blaze, put respect on them PS5 Pro specs, man. They gonna put your 3090 to 60.
How many teraflops was that?
He said it was gonna be 16 teraflops. I'm like, hey man.
Yeah, but like the scariest thing though is like when you look on these like fake insiders, right? Like whenever they tweet something, they'll still get like 50 people replying and that all believe them. Like, oh my gosh, like it's true. Like I can't believe you said that. Like
a lot of these guys will leave shit open. They'll leave it open ended too. Yeah. They'll like try to put this wizardry, like trying to leave it like it's just.
No,
of course.
Like it's possible.
Wait,
and a lot of them just all they do is just like troll like the gaming leaks on Reddit and like 4chan and just sort of like take notes about all the different rumors and then tweet them all out like it's their own.
One of the things that got me was Robert Serrano. I don't know if it was the Xbox. I think it was the Xbox show, or it was the Xbox show. And then he's like, "Oh, I got off the internet for like the duration of the Xbox show. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that they changed the whole format of the show, something like that along the lines. I could be completely wrong, but I was just like, what the like? What? You just admit you got it wrong, bro. It's fine."
Yeah, he said he was away for the whole show. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh. That's where I'm like, people need a wake up call. Stop believing people. Like, if I make on Twitter and have a prediction, I don't expect people to be like, oh yeah, this dude's an insider. Now, like,
bro, we already seen it happen in the Discord. Dude, when he did it for like a month, there was one time.
No, like I've been sort of like keeping track of who you can believe, and the amount of people that I feel like get it right at least a little bit more than they get it wrong is like I can count on one hand, man. The Snitch.
I bet all you follow the Snitch.
I do.
All of you do.
I did after he got all that stuff right. I absolutely.
See, I don't care enough, but like a lot of those people want attention. Like that's all it's about is the like that recognition they get after. Other than the Snitch, because he's not using his real name or his real picture trying to promote himself. Like there's no Snitch YouTube channel. There's no Snitch. So that's why I actually like him, because he's just like this unknown person that just put shit out. Like, but the other guys, you know, yeah, it's you can technically call it a job, I guess, or
yeah. I was gonna say, Blaze, think about it like this: if he or she put himself out there, right? Like, I doubt he would get any that person would get any more leaked information. You know?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. On top of the leaks, you know, for everything, according to, you know, the snitch, June 30th is when this is going to happen. It's going to be a state of play. So, in 1 week, if we don't get anything in 1 week, that's courtesy of the snitch. That's what he's saying.
Well, no, the snitch did this, that he posted a GIF for Kratos with like the nodding with the axe or something like that, and it had like the numbers, and I think it was like 5 ones and a 0 or something like that, and which is people figured
11.
out that it was binary, and then it turned out to equal like 30th.
Yep.
You know, June
December.
30th.
Yeah. I thought it was December.
No, but the if you put in the binary code or whatever, I'm not an expert in binary, but it turns out it equals the 30th, and people are assuming that they're going to show, which is on the Thursday, that they're going to show off either a trailer or a state of play for God of War.
Yeah, and then he followed up with another gift that said order, which everyone assumes that the pre-orders would start, which I think makes absolute sense. Like I was actually looking like this week, just randomly, I'm like God of War Ragnarok pre-order, and I'm like, I can't find it on any retailer site. Like, it's crazy that it's supposed to be coming out this year and you still can't pre-order.
People took that and they thought it was the order.
Well,
I've seen people running with that too.
No, the
right.
order's done.
Order 1886.
The order
It's
is
definitely
done.
not the order.
It's not, yeah.
But I would certainly love it if it was.
Yeah. The order is gone, people. Sorry. As much
They see, like, if he tweets like a round table, like King Arthur, like, or some shit, like, you know,
Would
or
you
like
get
a
super hyped,
vampire.
Blaze?
Yeah, I would.
That'd be
That's
dope.
just like-
I ain't gonna lie. That'd be dope to have him on the show. I don't know if you guys are interested to
Who?
talk to him. The director of The Order, 1886.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Where is he right now?
He's with Facebook. If I remember correctly. He's
Yeah.
with, he's with Facebook.
They got
Facebook.
acquired by Facebook.
Yeah, he got acquired by
Oculus
Facebook.
Meta.
I'd love to talk to him about that.
So like they're
Or-
working on Oculus games that.
yeah.
So.
He
It is
took
crazy.
the bag. I can't blame him.
I
Whatever.
mean, yeah, true. The game wasn't really. I mean, it sold better over time, but it didn't do as well as the team hoped it was going to do. Plus, you know, the controversy it got for the length and the price. If it was $40, it wouldn't have got a lick of none of that criticism that it got. But unfortunately, that's what it got hit with, though. It was like a 5-hour game you can do on one stream.
I think it looks so good for a reason. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the first people saying, "Oh my god, the visuals," but it was so bare bones in terms of, like, you know, very linear, very little exploration, like just the standard third person cover shooter. And I think it was like that for a reason, because anything else that needed attention would have took away from something. They couldn't have made it. You know, especially on that hardware, but I don't know.
One of the things I didn't like about it, Blaze, was like the whole screen not being filled up and them going. I know they were trying to make it more cinematic.
You didn't like the black.
I wish it was a full. I wish it was an option actually.
It was supposed to tell the story of like an old school camera. They were trying to like really sell the theme of the, you know, well, not the theme, but the time period. That's why it was shot like that.
And that's fine, but I wish there was just an option that you could just change it to full, you know, where it can just fill the whole screen up.
Yeah, Werewolf Transformation.
I like that
still
game
the
a lot,
best
man.
In any game, period, that I've ever seen, and how
They have
grotesque they looked. Yeah.
Somebody said a lot of unique guns and a lot of there was bullet damage, dismemberment. It was just a cool place to be in, like a cool time period. I just like that whole, you know, it started off strong. You getting thrown in the water, like. You know, I really wish they would have did more with that, bro. It's, you know, that game's gonna, the longer that game stays stagnant and like nobody's like, you know, there's no hopes of a sequel or whatever, like the more and more people are gonna kind of bring that up and push for it, because it was very unique.
Yeah.
You know what's awesome about it too? You remember the Arc, Blaze, the electric one? Did you know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
when you shoot somebody in the head or whatever, it actually leaves a smoke effect? Like there's actually smoke that's on their body, like it
Bro,
fizzles out
dope.
It was so good. They had fun with that game. I really loved it, especially the pistols, even like the slow mo bullet time you get to do when you drink that little black water. It's
Blackwater. It was just very interesting, man. Like,
yeah,
they had the boss battles were really, really disrespectful, but
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Even the end was like the same, right? If I recall.
the end was kind of open. Yeah, very, very
So
open.
that's the only thing I did. I could be wrong, but Ready at Dawn before this game did the God of War like PSP games, right? I don't know what their catalog was before that.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that was their first IP, like new IP.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no clue. I would have to relook at that. Because I would have gave them a pass, especially if it was their first time doing something way different than God of War PSP titles.
The only and I'm thinking about it too, because there's so much potential with that world. Sequel wise, they could have brought Frankenstein into that type of environment. They could have brought
vampires.
I mean, obviously vampires are going to be part of it, but I was questioning whether or not was he still immortal, because remember he got kicked out the table. You know what I mean? So he didn't have access to the black water anymore. And he had like what was little he had in that flask. After that, he's pretty much immortal.
what was his name? Galahad?
Sir Galahad, yeah.
Galahad, yeah.
Really cool game. If I didn't have the platinum already, and it was, I might just go back just to play around and shoot it.
I went back and do it. I did it. It was fire. We did stream the 5 hours straight. Really 6 hours, count the deaths. But I mean, it was 5-hour game. Awesome. It's a great game. A game that needs to bring back is that game called Black. Forgot about Black. That's that military shooter, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I played it on Xbox. It's yeah, that's cool.
Was it good? I know Mag.
Yeah,
Mag
it
was really good. I didn't really I didn't play Black. I don't think. I just remember the case of it. It was like a bunch of bullets on the case. I do remember that. What's up, Sheep Place?
Dude, has anyone actually gone through? You guys saw that new video or like commercial that Sony released for PlayStation Plus? I think the tagline was like, "Why be one thing when you can be anything?" And there was like, I was just like checking out a few of the little like Easter eggs that are in there, but there was like, there was Bloodborne, which I'm. Did you guys see that? Like,
no, I didn't get to see that yet.
Oh, you got to watch it, man. Like the guy's like walking through this like PlayStation museum, and there's all these little artifacts.
Yeah.
From different games. There was the Ghost of Tsushima mask, and then it was like, there was and the baby was alive too, which was really cool. The baby like looks over and like looks at him when he's walking by. But yeah, they have the transforming saw. And I was like, Bloodborne. Sony hasn't forgotten.
I hope
Bloodborne.
so. Like honestly, that they would make so much money.
I think
if they
it's
brought it to
happening.
PS5 and PC.
No,
they would print so much money. Like
yeah,
no,
well, dude,
I really do think they are. It's just they're waiting. They're biding their time. They're waiting for The Last of Us.
Because that's like I feel like that's the most requested thing right now is Bloodborne.
It's the most requested PC release as well.
Didn't that Nibble dude? I didn't read all the news yet, but he was like tweeting about FromSoftware today, and like isn't From working on multiple games? He said.
Yep.
They were hinting at a sequel to Elden Ring and some other titles.
Yeah, but they also said that like at least I saw one tweet from Nibble that said something about how like one of their games is almost done. Like one of their games is in like the final phase.
Was that Armored Core or no? Like. Because I know they were talking about that like a while ago. I don't know like how long that was though.
Maybe, but I would imagine that he would have like Nibble would have mentioned that if that was like it seemed like it was like in the same line as like
a Souls game,
like a Souls game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I got to go back and look at all his tweets because there was like a whole bunch of stuff that came up. But I was like, dude, they're hiring for multiple games and like one's almost finished. Jeez, how did so they had two teams? Since when did they have two teams? They must have had somebody working on like one other.
Well,
full.
Didn't they have that back when Dark Souls 1 and then Dark Souls 2, right? And then Bloodborne
Oh, that
and
is
3.
true. That
like,
is true. Yeah.
That's
true.
what I thought. Like Blaze is the expert. I'm just
That
guessing.
is true. Maybe they've
What?
always had 2 teams then.
Like, doesn't From have 2 teams because Miyazaki didn't work on Dark Souls 2, but he worked on Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 instead?
Yeah, but Dark Souls 2 is a super convoluted, man. It was just... But yeah, they have to, because in terms of
Output and
like
time
Dark
frame.
Souls 3, yeah, time frame and shit like that. Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2 came out, and then Bloodborne was right around the corner. So, like, unless they, you know, yeah. But Miyazaki, I forgot the guy's name, man. Like, he gets a lot of flack from Dark Souls 2, but it's all shit that people like in Dark Souls games now. It's all shit that people are used to. You know, people hate change right away, but
Well, dude, like, I'm just looking at these Nibble tweets now. So they do have an unannounced game that's in the final stage of development. Miyazaki is gonna continue directing games. He's already working on his next game. Elden Ring is gonna receive a few updates, so I guess expansions are gonna come to that. And then it looks like Miyazaki, either his next game or a game that he wants to work on soon, is gonna have more abstract fantasy. So whatever that is. Seems like
man,
Yeah.
where the fuck
Oh,
are you
boy.
coming from?
What do you mean?
You look like you just came from space, bro.
This man looked like the dude from
That's
Forrest
where I'm
Gump.
from.
He like the dude from.
I like them. Them
At the
shades look
speech.
like some astronaut shades, man.
He's like, right
Listen,
on,
man.
man.
These are.
You said it all. What's your name, man?
Doctor-
That's how you look. He looks
Doctor
just
said
like
I
that
needed
guy.
this because my future was too bright. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You know, I'm just protecting my vision. What's up, fellas? I
Somebody
saw you
said
guys having a
Keanu
riveting
Reeves.
conversation, and I
Somebody said
wanted
Keanu
in.
Reeves in the chat.
I
Hey,
feel-
yo.
Yo,
Yeah,
Meds is
yeah.
Keanu Reeves 2.0 at this.
Facts.
Yo,
facts.
that's facts, though.
That's a
That's
good.
so
I didn't
fast.
expect
That's
that.
crazy, dude.
That's
Crazy.
kinda-
Yo,
that's
for a
true.
second here.
Bro,
Hold
what
up.
the fuck?
What?
Anyway.
It's just like the hair and the beard, everything.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back.
What's up,
We
guys?
That movie
missed
sucked, yeah.
you.
What were we just talking about? Who's got 2 teams? You guys derailed the entire conversation.
I
was from South-
Keep it
Mr.
seamless.
Anderson, it is inevitable that you came back.
Now, once a Big Cloud has a movie reference, he'll
I
be
know.
on
I
it
ain't
for
gonna
like
let it
2
go.
minutes.
I ain't gonna let it go. I ain't gonna let
Maybe
it go.
5
you
minutes.
know,
I ain't
Ryan.
gonna let it go. This man said dad in the chat. I'm dead.
Wait, what?
Listen,
Nice, is this your
GT
child?
with the ponies, so I came in the proper attire. You know,
Hey,
so
Mid, can you confirm? This person said dad. Can you confirm if that's your kid or not?
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of randoms out there.
Oh my gosh.
Who knows? Anyway, about the 2 teams. What's going on? What's going on? Come on, let's talk about video games. I'm here to talk about video games with my guys.
Defend your beloved
Wait, who's
If I might
the
be beloved, who's my beloved?
Xbox.
Xbox. I mean, what do you want me to say about Xbox? I mean,
Oh, you like
Xbox is-
you like Starfield, right?
Oh my god. I don't think
I mean, I definitely am looking forward to Starfield because I love Bethesda, but I mean, the thing is that what I saw, it wasn't like I saw it, and I don't know if Red Hood was in there in the Discord because we were watching it together in the Discord, and I was impressed. Like, not like, oh my god, I need this in my, inject it into my veins immediately, but I'm definitely gonna play it when it comes out. And even though like maybe it didn't show so well because I didn't think it showed super well, I don't really I don't doubt Bethesda. Like people can point to 76 all they want. Like, honestly, I got trust in Bethesda. Everybody misses here and there, Everybody got a couple misses. Insomniac put out Fuse and Call of the Deep or whatever it's called, that indie thing they put. Like, everybody misses sometimes. It's okay. Like, Bethesda will bounce back. They know their reputation took a hit. They're not gonna let that happen again.
Keanu with the bars, okay.
Coming
Yeah,
directly
but-
from the Matrix with these takes, man.
You're talking about this different types of miss. Like, yeah, I hit the side of the dartboard. You just put Bethesda put holes in my.
what car?
My wall.
I mean, they definitely missed with that, and it was a huge miss. But at the same time, and again, I don't want to be an apologist because I don't like.
No,
76.
I know you're not.
I don't want anything to do with it. But the game did pick up popularity later on. Like, it's a similar
It did. No, it
story.
did.
Yeah, it's a similar story to Sea of Thieves, even though
Yeah.
I don't think it is as big as Sea of Thieves, but it did find an audience eventually. Like people do like the game, some people. So
No, but yeah, people like
Me,
a lot of
but-
Bethesda game studio. Like me, I'm just in the camp. I don't feel like ranting because it's just like I'm in the camp where like my last good Todd Howard game was Morrowind, and I'm in the camp with like Alex.
You're one of these PC dork like bro. Like
Yeah, which is fine. Like if you
No,
like
yeah.
people consider it a sandbox now, like a casual sandbox that you could just do.
Bro, Fallout 4 was a good game. Vegas was a
game.
great
It was a
game.
good game.
Fallout 4, it got flack because it wasn't choices didn't matter or they didn't have as much shit like that. But Fallout 4 was a good game. They improved on shooting. It wasn't just relying on VATs. Like they actually took time, you could actually aim down sights and be effective with it. It was a decent little game, and it was a huge game at the time. And Vegas is a
Vegas
beloved
is
game.
the best one. That's my favorite one out of all of them.
Vegas is
Yeah, but you're going all the way back to
Vegas
Morrowind,
like,
and you're saying they
lot
haven't
of
put
people-
anything.
Well, no, but the thing is, it's not even made by Bethesda. It's made by Obsidian, and I've
but it was
always
under
been
the umbrella.
championing.
Yeah.
No, they gave freaking Obsidian 18 months to
They
work.
took
on it.
Fallout 3 and they made a better Fallout 3, honestly. And I love Fallout 3.
You're saying Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, Vegas, because Vegas just looks like they just took the template. Like even the colors are all the
Assets,
same.
yeah.
Everything is all orangey
Gray.
and gray, and like, it's all the same stuff. But yeah, like I know a lot of people like you, Red Hood, and Alex, and other like long time PC gamers, because I'm more of a new PC gamer, 2015. They like the older Fallout games, the older Elder Scrolls games. But I came into it with Fallout 3 and Skyrim, and I love those games. And if Bethesda keeps making games like that, I'm good with it.
I feel like they're trying to get another Skyrim, But Skyrim was peak Bethesda in terms of what I mean? Like everybody loved Skyrim. People were talking about it years and years. Like they still play it. They're still it's like one of the most modded games of all time. And I feel like they're trying to, because Skyrim felt like it would never run out. Like you open the map, you're like, holy shit.
I never beat Skyrim, and I never beat Fallout 3. But I've got like 300 hours in each.
There's a lot of content.
Wow.
The main quest wasn't really interesting to me, but everything else about the game were.
That's what I tell people also, because they, I don't know, want to always praise the story. It's like, dude, don't go into those games thinking you're gonna get a great story. Just do whatever you want with the game.
Off the beaten
Essentially,
path.
So
even mod it. Like
Yeah.
if you're a PC gamer, mod the game.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
mod it on
Let
console.
me ask you this, Medina. How you feel
Mhm.
about the 1,000 planets on that game? I mean, there's only going to be 6
I mean,
that are actually
you're
legit
only
made.
going to visit a few. You're only going to visit a few, and honestly, like, I feel like that's there for those people that are still playing Skyrim today. Because there's people that they just love Skyrim, they love Fallout, and they just keep playing new mods. And there's always people finding new stuff in games like that. Like for example, like Breath of the Wild, people are always finding new stuff in that game, and I feel like that's there for them. Guys like us, we're probably gonna explore maybe a little and then go ahead and finish the story because we don't got time to explore 1,000 planets. Who does really? But yeah, like I said, I think it's just a matter of the game's gonna appeal to more than just one audience. They're gonna go after guys like us who want that 30, 40 hour experience RPG, and other people who want to just get lost in a game and play it for 3-5 years. It's doesn't bother me. I don't think there's any cause for concern personally. I saw a lot of concern about it. I'm not concerned.
More content, more concern, huh? Crazy.
Like I will say my most hyped Western RPG game is in early access still, and I've been waiting for it. And people can call me a nerd all they want, but Baldur's Gate 3,
Oh,
You're a
Baldur's
fucking
that's
nerd.
gonna be amazing.
I'm surprised.
Absolutely.
I thought that came out in 1.0.
No, they just been updating it like in each act and stuff. They kind of did the same thing with Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Is that the same type of a game, by the way, Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate's like the OG.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so they kind of
Like Baldur's Gate
But
inspired
it's like-
games like
okay,
Pillars of Eternity.
Yep.
right.
What's the other one that was huge?
Divinity. also.
Divinity Original Sin, exactly. Like
They're
that's
the same studio that Larian Studios, the same people that did
So
Divinity.
top down.
And then but it's like not,
it's a CRPG.
yeah, but it's also like you like have the cutscenes like a regular like Western RPG would, and the graphics are actually really good in that game.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm a PC guy to the core. I don't like CRPGs, bro. Like, it's not the camera angle because everybody says, "Oh, that isometric stuff." It's not the camera angle. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want RPGs to be that deep, and I guess that's where me and the RPG hardcores differ. Like, I don't need it to be Dungeons and Dragons. If I wanted it to be Dungeons and Dragons, I would be playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not.
No.
Okay. Good point.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've been talking forever, man.
No. We got a celebrity.
Yeah, you have. What the
in front
fuck,
of us,
dude?
so we're just enjoying
He
this.
keeps asking me questions.
I know. We asked a celebrity, special guest.
Celebrity.
Matt, you come out. You listen. You're a very. I told you this. You're rational. You know.
Very social.
You bring a spark. Yeah, you bring a spark to the conversation. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sir, I'm an X-Bot, okay? Don't
Listen, you're the real.
Hey.
Red Hood's really the emergency switch we hit when you.
Oh
when you
no!
Wow.
I mean, you know, Red Hood and I are cousins.
That's true.
Right. That's why. You
Hey,
know,
Red Hood, don't
He
ever
got
look
the
at me
bad- he
funny.
got the
Think I
bad
do that
genes.
one. It ain't just me. It's him.
no, Red.
Red
I'm
Hood's got
busting
the
the
bad
balls.
It ain't just me. I always be cringe when I say Red Hood's name. No. You gotta look at that way
Oh,
too.
man.
Anyhow. So what else is in the news? Like, so is Sony buying Square Enix or not? I saw you were streaming about this, Big Cloud, the other day, and I hit a swift dislike on your video, and I listened to it. It was a good video. You know, I listened to it, but you know, I had to hit that swift dislike, and
I know,
but-
'cause you thought PC wasn't getting it, but obviously PC.
No,
will
I know PC's
get
getting it. I'm
Must
not
say,
worried
yeah,
about that.
it's gonna
Honestly,
be open.
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. And I don't want to be the
Everything's
gaming
gonna-
politician here because
everything's
I
gonna
really
go.
don't want to be. I really don't want to
Yeah.
be. But honestly, it just bothers me. Like, and this includes Xbox buying Bethesda, Activision, all this stuff. Like, honestly, I hate. I don't like this stuff. Like,
It's
Like,
consolidation. Like,
the consolidation of the industry, the exclusivity war. Like,
Yeah.
like I get like, you know, PlayStation versus Xbox. You know, let's make our own games. Obviously, our games are going to be here and your games are going to be there. But like, you just keep buying everything, so everything's going to eventually be your games. And then what? I
mean,
can't complain about that. No, I can't complain
We
about that
talked
because
about
Blame
this,
Xbox for that, man.
I am blaming Xbox. But the thing
Oh,
they
is,
started. Yeah.
because Sony was stomping them so bad, Xbox had to retaliate. And again, Sony can't just stand pat and watch them do this, so they got to buy some stuff too. And according to Big Cloud's terrible video and Greg Miller and everything, Sony's buying Square Enix, and it's like, honestly, like I said, like I'm just against this in general. Like I don't want Xbox people to miss out on Final Fantasy. I don't want PlayStation people missing out on Starfield and all this other stuff. Like it's kind of I don't like seeing this, and it's annoying. Like I want it to stop.
I told
I
you
think
before,
it-
though, this is going to turn into that conversation. Like, we're no longer going to talk about quality games. We're just going to talk about, okay, who has what studio. That's basically
Yeah.
And
what
it's
it's
all
turned
because
into.
of console war. I feel
Yeah,
like Twitter's
that's all it
lame
is.
ass console warriors have triggered all of this. You know what I mean? Like
Well-
because they want to make their stupid little list of games. Like my box has this, and your box. Like and now every company that's independent is being bought up.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
like,
like
I
it.
think the one
I
good
think
thing, though-
everyone was fine, right, when Xbox bought Obsidian. What other like the We Happy Few
Small
devs? I forgot.
studios, but then they
Which
bought
everyone was
Bethesda,
fine,
This
and
is
then-
crazy.
And
Undead
then it
Labs,
was
yeah.
Bethesda, where that was the tipping point, and PlayStation, in that mindset, it's like, whoa, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
So then, in their mindset, they're like, okay, let's get a couple little studios here, and then their big one was Bungie, and all that. And I've been telling people it's not gonna stop. Like after Activision goes through,
Not.
which it will,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna try and buy another one. I don't know, but EA was also trying to sell themselves to either Disney, Amazon, or was it NBC, something like that. I don't know.
NBC, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Disney. Disney was
So
like the one
that
was closest,
EA
I
is
think.
willing to sell as well,
Yeah.
Everybody's
I
willing
think
to stop
that-
and
because everybody's
WB
got a
Games
price.
as well.
Go on,
I
Paul.
think,
What you
I think
saying?
the only good thing really though is that like I'm getting the sense that with a lot of these big companies that they are going to keep the games multi-platform. Like you know, Sony already announced that with Bungie, like you know, Destiny and their future games are going to be like they can control. So like there could be an exclusive PlayStation Bungie game if Bungie decides that, but I highly doubt they would because they're an independent entity that can do whatever they want.
Well-
but also with Activision too, right? So I don't know. I
Yes.
feel like if like EA maybe if Square got bought, like because Sony has a history
Square's
of
not
making
putting their games on
the-
Xbox
the-
if they get bought, bro. It's
yeah.
I think they'll put it on Switch though. I think the smaller
yeah.
JRPGs will be put on Switch, but the other JRPGs
Yeah.
probably wouldn't. Because I'll think this too.
Why switch, Red Hood? Why switch?
Because like
It's
the
a
Octopath
competitor.
Travelers and the Project Triangle
Because of the
strategy going
Japanese market,
sell
too.
really well on
Exactly.
I know, but they gotta slow Nintendo down, bro. Little by little, like, oh yeah, give it the Switch. Don't worry about
No,
it.
they don't. No, they don't. The Nintendo customer is not the PlayStation customer.
Yeah.
And what I mean
I
is,
know that.
obviously, people who play PlayStation also play Nintendo. But my point is that the reason why Nintendo has sold so many Switches is because it's a complementary console. You buy
Pretty
your
much,
Xbox
yeah.
and then you also buy a Switch. You
Yep.
buy your PlayStation, you also buy a Switch.
But
You
shouldn't
buy
it be
PC,
like that with both Xbox and PlayStation? Like,
People
what the
don't look at the people
Dude, it
have
should
not looked
be.
at Nintendo this way since they stopped looking at themselves that way. As soon as they stopped competing in terms of power and put out the stupid little waggly controls, they put themselves out of the race, and everybody accepted them as like, just a complementary
middle ground?
machine.
Yeah.
And everybody. And the thing is, Nintendo is outwardly, because obviously, in my opinion, they're an insidious company, but outwardly they just seem so like wholesome and family friendly that
Yep.
everyone, even though like let's say you're like you, Blaze, you're a hardcore gamer, but you're a dad, you have kids, like your kids maybe don't want to play Gears of War and all this stuff. Maybe they want to play a little Mario Kart or whatever, so you buy your kids a Switch. They're and that's how it is. Like every house, and not only that, but because the Switch is a portable device, if you have 2-3 kids, you're probably only going to buy one Xbox, but if you have 2-3 kids, you're probably going to buy them all a Switch, right?
Yeah, the thing is too is like the Switch has a library that's like completely different than PlayStation or Xbox. So that's why it is such a good complementary, and I think that's why there is the rivalry between Xbox and PlayStation. Because let's admit it, man. Like as much as we like, sure, I love PlayStation and I have Xbox too, and I love it too. But like the thing is like when you look at the actual libraries, they're like 90% the same. Like
Exactly.
I'm playing. On my PlayStation. I'm playing exactly the same games that all the Xbox guys are playing, except for maybe I'm playing like a couple of other games that are exclusive to my platform, Horizon, Gran Turismo, or whatever. But they're also playing their own games too, Forza Horizon, Halo Infinite, stuff like that. So, I mean, as long as they keep on having like such an overlap, I can't really see the rivalries are gonna, at least the fanboys on Twitter and Reddit and all that are gonna continue on.
I was gonna say for Activision Blizzard, like Call of Duty will remain multi-platform. Some other games I don't think so. I think WoW will also go on Xbox, but not PlayStation. Kind of like the rivalry between like Final Fantasy and WoW. Like that'll definitely happen within those two systems, because it's like I just don't see them putting it on PlayStation WoW, because WoW will definitely go on consoles at one point.
Right, Hood. I got a question, right? Like, but didn't Nintendo start it like? It's so different when it comes to consoles, like because from my childhood, commercials like Sega or now you're dealing with True Power, like that competition. It was always put in the marketing from the very beginning. Like I don't see Netflix saying, "Oh, now you're dealing with, like they're not taking shots at Hulu. They're aware of them. Like the marketing for video games has always been competitive.
Blaze, here's the
saying
difference.
this is better.
But I think
the customers are different. I'm sorry, Paul. I was going to say the customer base is different. Like people that watch Netflix aren't telling people who are watching the Mandalorian like,
they don't care.
Stranger Things is better than like this is not something that's going on Twitter, because if you're a movie watching person or somebody who watches TV and movie is into that, you're gonna subscribe.
So what's wrong with us? We gotta check ourselves. What is wrong with us?
We do. Not me personally, because I'm neutral in all this personally, but like these morons on Twitter who argue about dumb shit. Like literally think about it. Imagine like Paramount only puts their fucking movies on I don't know,
Paramount
Sony
Plus.
branded DVD players, and then Universal only puts their movies on Samsung DVD players. Like, are we going to argue about what movies are like? This would never happen in any other industry, which is why I find the fanboyism so silly and ridiculous.
The fanboyism is dumb, but also like a lot of the executives are like fanboyism is bad, but deep down,
the thing
in
is,
a way, it's marketing.
It fuels conversation, and that's why they stoke the flames.
Because like you could see like certain Xbox fanboys or extremists are also followed by certain executives in said company, and in their mind the fanboy extremists are like, oh shoot, he followed me, therefore I'm gonna keep doing it as a reward or something like that in their like mind, even though I think it's dumb. Like you're not getting paid, you're not getting free stuff.
Or are they?
Like I just think it's just mind-boggling.
It's just
Yeah,
it's the most passionate group of fucking people I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's like when you see that God of War on stage, like, as a, and see, here I go saying it, as a Sony guy, I felt gratitude from it. I'm like, yeah, see what the fuck I'm talking about, man. Sit down, Xbox. Like, that's why my brain is poisoned. But it is like that gratitude, like, yes, like, it's like you spent that money for that box.
Listen,
That's the
bro.
difference. That's the
You
difference.
shouldn't feel
We're spending money on a fucking piece of hardware. That's the difference.
You shouldn't feel gratitude for somebody selling you a product. You shouldn't be like, "Thank you so much for allowing me to spend this money on this."
It's not a thank you, but it's like justification. I spent $500. They're giving me content to play on that box. That's it.
People started treating gaming companies like sports teams, and that's where everything went wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And someone mentioned that Muck said, "So is it stupid in sports?" And I feel like sports and video, like sports, you're getting a team that you support either because you like the team or because you grew up in that state.
Usually it's because you're from where the team is from.
Yeah. So like I feel like that's different because like you do buy merchandise to support said team, or you just watch it because you find that sport entertaining. Whereas you're being provided a product from said company, which is from video games, which is different than a sports game, which is not giving you a product. It's just giving you a game that you're entertained. And if you're not entertained, you could also turn off and don't watch again.
Bro, the sports thing is actually fact. Like, it's the whole sports attitude, like home field advantage, that they brought that straight over to video game. That's a great analogy. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Like, I think the reason why this happened, like, because I was a kid and I grew up in the 90s with, like, the Sega does what Nintendo don't, or
Nintendo don't, yeah.
Yes.
And Genesis isn't. That was Nintendo's line. Genesis isn't. But the thing is too is like they, like, back then, gaming was like primarily a kid thing, right? Like, let's admit it, man.
Right.
Like, of course there was adults, but it was like primarily a kid thing. So like you had all these executives that are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're marketing to like 10-year-olds, right? And of course, like, that kind of stuff just resonates. Like, when I'm a little kid,
Right.
sure, I like having little rivalries, but now we're in this situation where it's like, you look at the ESRB, they have like the annual surveys that they do, and like the average gamer is like something like 37 now, right? And every year it keeps on getting older as we all get older, right? So
The generation that first started gaming is still
and like Sega Saturn that had like realistic graphics and realistic games, and narratives were evolving and gameplay was evolving, and then adults were like, damn, like, I gotta start playing games again because holy shit, look at these games. And then now it's like we're trying to lose this like history that we had because of these companies. And I just think, like, even looking back at like the PS3 era, when in like the 360 era, like, dude, like, Microsoft and Sony like fan the flames, like the one video of like Shuhei where they're talking about trading games.
Yep. He's like, this is how you trade games, and
right.
he goes,
The
step
classic
one.
and then having Phil like at E3 like rolling up his sleeve, and you see that he has GTA tattooed on it, like.
Yeah.
Dude, like it's like
Dude,
it's like
they
finally,
did it
like, last
cleverly,
gen was
though,
the.
with
I think
PS1.
last gen was like the first time that we finally like some folks, like some executives were like, this is not what we should be, man. This is embarrassing.
You remember?
It's never gonna change, though.
You remember back then they had Crash, the dude in the suit.
Oh yeah,
Going to
outside
GameStop, just saying
Like
Mario
Nintendo's
sucks.
headquarters.
Yeah, saying Mario
Yeah.
sucks. He's not better than me. Like,
The thing is, it's a little different now because honestly,
it's social media.
like, that's a TV commercial, exactly, because
Yeah,
of
social
social media.
media,
Because now what you're seeing is official accounts dunking on tweets that don't like the platform. Now you're seeing marketing talking heads interacting with
all this
random
shit
fanboys, and
then they give them a voice with Twitter
Dude.
Spaces.
Well,
that's
what's
really where
crazier,
it comes from because of
Meds,
social media. Because
it's not just
console
the
wars were
people.
always around.
it's not just the people, dude. Even corporations get into
what
it,
I'm
like
saying.
Wendy's
Yep.
and Domino's, stuff like that. Like,
Yo,
I'm like,
Wendy's
what?
be savage. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wendy's
like,
be
The
savage. I don't know.
Sonic
Yeah.
Hedgehog Twitter account, the Wendy's Twitter account. Like, there's so
KFC
many
too.
corporate Twitter accounts that are clearly run by some kid who's like 23
Yeah.
and edgy. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I enjoy it and it's funny. But when you do that, when you employ people like that to run, the Xbox thing, and honestly, I see it more from the Xbox. Like, I don't see the PlayStation, at least it's PlayStation social media accounts, the official ones, acting kind of like, responding to trolls and stuff like that. I don't see that. The Xbox ones do though, and I don't know.
But we
In my
just
opinion,
talked about
it's late
that,
to
like,
see.
a few weeks ago, right? We had a good conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, because they
about that,
dunked on those guys.
where it's like, yeah, exactly. Like we were just saying a few weeks ago about how like it's funny and we enjoy it, but at some point, like they got to dial it back a little bit, right? Because
Right.
you know, you're like you're bringing attention to the fanboys, you're bringing attention to these like
Right.
bad takes, right? Like that's one thing. Like as like a guy who like gets more associated with PlayStation than any other brand. Like people always say to me, like I get on tweets all the time where it's like, oh, like, you know, the Sony execs like don't interact with their fan base and like they don't really care about their community and stuff like that. Me, like I'm sitting there like thinking, I'm glad, like, dude, I'm glad that they don't. Could you? I don't need Shuhei like tweeting at me every week, right? I don't want. I like if Shuhei actually had the time to talk to me every week on Twitter, I would be thinking like, what are you doing, man? Like, go back to your games.
Yes.
You got like a platform to run. You got indies that you got to run. Like, I don't want Herman Hulse. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, it's like they treat it like it's a bad thing. Yeah, but I'm like, dude, I don't even care. I don't want Nintendo. I don't want like Bowser messaging me. The thing is, like, I will say, like, you know, I go out to events and like I sometimes see them and it's really cool to like, you know, have them say hi at those events.
Super
even like,
approachable, yeah. Like
Xbox is like the best for that, right? Phil Spencer is like all over these events and he'll talk to anybody. That's great, man. Like at those events, that's the whole point of the event. The whole point of the event is interaction and like getting to know people and like feeling that rapport with them. But Twitter, no. I don't care,
man. Exactly. Because the thing is, like you said, Paul, interaction on Twitter is not like interaction in real life. We can have a conversation on Twitter and you can take the meaning of my words completely different because you can't read my tone.
Right.
And if we would have had this conversation in real life, it would have been a very perfectly polite conversation.
Yep.
But on Twitter, it erupts into an argument.
Totally.
And I mean, everybody lives for like that one stretching tweet, you know what I mean? Everybody's looking to get to my.
I feel like
another thing too
emboldens people too, though.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like, it amplifies their personality. Like they wouldn't like
exactly.
Like, this is how they are actually, but they don't want to do that in public, so they'll do that through social media. Which
you know what I'm thinking too,
and times that by 10.
Like when I cut that PlayStation, I'm just thinking right now because we're bringing this up. Like, yo, someone at Insomniac or Sony, like, dude, do you believe it? Like, some guy just cut up a Spider-Man, like, you know what I mean? Like from the news and shit. I'm like, and that's kind of fucking hilarious and stupid at the same time.
It is funny because
they saw that shit. Like, like, wow, did you see this tweet? Like, but I don't know. I think it's all fun and games. Like there's fun to be had. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, like a big celebrity comes and slam dunks a tweet or leaves a comment or he retweeted my tweet, like, and it just, I think Twitter is a major factor. Like, if you get rid of Twitter,
if you get rid of Twitter, you got to get rid of YouTube.
Well, it's just social media period.
Because you got to get rid of anything with audience. Yeah.
We're not heavily on there,
but Twitter is literally
Instagram too, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But Mez, you're on YouTube, dudes are not writing. They're not. You can't post like you do on. Like you can, but it's
bro,
like
people write essays as comments on YouTube. You've seen.
Oh yeah,
dude,
I don't read that.
Dude,
when I see a freaking essay,
but it's not 24/7. Like you're not. Like I'm not going to YouTube to write comments.
Oh, you'd be surprised. We know somebody who did that. What was his name? Meds? Oh, Mega Zeal.
Oh no,
Mega Zeal was writing essays.
People are a lot more likely to talk, sound off on Twitter than they are to talk shit on a YouTube video. Yeah. So I do definitely get it, but it's just social media in general, and like there's certain things that you don't think of as social media, but they are social media. Like for example, YouTube. YouTube has a community tab. You can comment on any video. Like that's social media. You feel me?
Dude, even Discord. Like
absolutely.
When you're not in VC, of course. The people typing out messages in Discord service also gets amplified as well. VC is a different story because you get to talk to people, but also some people, pretend to, act in a different way also.
The unfortunate thing about all of them for me as well.
All of them.
The unfortunate thing about the social media era in this whole gaming landscape, in my opinion, is that we all know that, first of all, fanboys are annoying, but we all know that, like, yes, there's fanboys out there, but they're just really, really loud, and that's why it seems like everybody's a fanboy. They're not. Like, the majority of gamers are regular ass people who don't care about any of this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But you see, like, companies bending the knee, to borrow an Iron Lord's phrase, to fanboy stuff. And it's like, do they not realize that even though they're getting ratioed on Twitter, that's like 2% of the player base? Like, don't
That's
listen
what the
to these
world
idiots.
does. They cater to the 1%.
Yeah, but
everybody does that.
the funniest thing about it too is like some of these people seem like they're on Twitter like literally 24/7. You'll see people
Yeah, they
that,
do.
like
They really do, though.
Yeah, but like the funny thing is like the biggest voices in gaming on Twitter, I think, are not even the biggest gamers. Like they're far from
They're
the
not.
biggest
They're
gamers.
not.
They're like
media
they're the
personalities.
they're media personalities. They're just people that just like an audience. They like clout. They like building an audience and getting attention and stuff like that. Because it's funny. Like I've been like the more my channel has grown, the less I've been interacting on. I used to tweet a lot more than what I do these days. But like I just basically was like I got to a point where I was like I'm on Twitter like way too much. I'm a gamer. Like I don't. I'll tweet like maybe 2 or 3 like cool things that I see in the day, and then like if you look at my account, I'll go dark for like 4 hours because I'm playing games. Like, dude, after this show, after this show, I'm gonna go on Twitter, tweet once or twice, and then dude, I'm out. I'm playing games until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
The people who are busiest playing games, they ain't on Twitter beefing with people who bought a random box that you don't like.
Yeah.
And
they also don't care, right?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, go on, Paul. I'm sorry.
I'm just like, it's like, why would I care what these fanboys have to say? Because like, I've already got my like queue and backlog of games that I'm going to be playing. I know what I'm going to be playing in the next couple of months. I've got this whole thing mapped out, right? And it's just like, I don't care. Like, I feel like I don't know, like these people are just like talking to themselves, and they're not really they're not influencing much at all, right?
Yeah,
like,
but it takes a half a second. Like I know you say, oh, if they're really tweeting with like I can sit here for 5 minutes and have like a back and forth with somebody, and it'll take me just that 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can do it so fast, huh?
You're right on that, Blaze, but look at people's go on these people's that we're talking about. Go on their not on their page. Go to the tweets and replies. Go to that, and then you'll see that they're holding arguments with like 6 different people simultaneously, and they go on the entire day.
Yep.
Like these, like it's like facts. Sure, it takes me 10 seconds to send a tweet, absolutely, but the people that Hunter's talking about, these are people that live on Twitter.
Yep.
That tweet every 10 minutes, that you look at their total count of tweets and they've got like 110,000 tweets.
Yep.
Like these are the people that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And they're out there. I see them all the time.
They're the ones that are always in my trending tab. Like it sucks. Like every time I look, I'm like looking at the trending tab for gaming to find out what's new, and I'm like, oh dude, it's this dude again, it's this dude again. Like if you actually go to like the PS5 section on Twitter or the PS4 section or Xbox or whatever and look at like the top trending, it's almost always like just fanboys arguing. And I'm like, that's not why I'm there, man. I'm there. I want to see like the new trailers. I want to know what games are coming out. I want to know like, cool articles that people saw, stuff like that.
Dude, Medina,
but Twitter rewards that, man. They just like all social media, man. They reward that by pumping that up the algorithm. And
and that's the thing, Paul. You don't engage in this stuff. You know why? Because you're a mature, grounded adult. But a lot of people out there, like you said, like, why is the gamer age getting higher and higher and higher? It's not because old people randomly took up gaming. It's because we're getting older.
Yep.
And a lot of people our age, I hate to say this, but I see it all the time. A lot of people our age think they're Peter Pan and think that they can be a kid forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, bro. You've got a wife and kids. You're 37 years old. You can't be arguing Xbox versus PlayStation on Twitter, bro.
Yeah. That's why, like, I know it's tough because consoles are expensive and all that, but like going multi-platform is just the best thing that anyone can do. It opens your, like, it just absolutely opens your mind. I can't even put my head in a console warrior's headspace because I've been multi-platform now for a long time. Like I remember, I think the last time I was like, I would consider myself like console warrior-ish probably would have been like the NES era or maybe the Super NES. Because I remember like I was like a hardcore Super NES fan. And like I didn't actually have a Genesis. I never like console war because we didn't have social media back then. But I always just thought like Super NES is better and like why would I need a Genesis? But then like one of my best buds bought a Genesis and he bought all these games and he brought them over to my house one day and he was like, dude, play Shinobi, play Strider, play Sonic the Hedgehog, play Shining in the Darkness. And I played all these games and I'm like, these are good, man. Yeah. Like some of these are even better than what I'm playing on Super Nintendo. And I ended up a year later, I bought a Genesis and like I've been multi-platform since. But like that moment where I like opened up my mind to other platform was like the best thing for me. Like I can't even imagine my life being a Nintendo fan right now.
Hunter, you might want to talk to Big Cloud after the show about this type of stuff.
Paul, can I say something? Because honestly, like I think that, like I said, I think the console war is just a big function of people just not growing up. Because I remember console warring when, you know, not me console warring, but I remember seeing it, you know, like in the lunchroom in middle school and in the playground in elementary school and stuff like that. I remember seeing that, and honestly, here's how I grew up in New York City, and here's how it went down as a gamer in school, right? As a student arguing with your friends. People used to console war as kids. This is my experience, because as a kid, you know, obviously you're a student. You don't make money. Your parents buy you everything. So they're probably going to buy you one platform, and if you ask them to buy you a second one, they're going to tell you to fuck off. Yep. Like, obviously you as a kid, you got to defend your little, you know, the choice that you made. You defend that, right? But like, I don't understand how this mentality seeped over, because like I said, like this all came from, like, in my opinion, right, a factor of just being a kid, not being able to afford it all. Like, you can't afford a Genesis and a PC and a Nintendo. You're a third grader.
Yeah.
But once you're an adult and you can buy your own things, like, what's the problem? What's going on here? You know, like, you have all the platforms, you have the ability to get all the platforms, you have the income. So what are we doing here?
Dude, well, Mets, like what I was thinking about the other day is like people love to bash things like Game Pass is like the punching bag for Twitter. Yeah. And it's so funny because like when I was a kid, what I used to do, I had a ritual like every Friday. What I would do is there was a game shop that was like 20 minutes away from where I lived. Me and my buddy would go there every single Friday, and we would pick the latest, hottest game that we would rent. We'd spend like $3-4.
I missed that, bro.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. And we'd rent it from like Friday to Monday every week. I'd end up spending like, you know, $12 or $15 a month doing that, right? And I remember like back then it was the cool thing to do. Everyone loved doing this. We all rented our games and all that. And it's like Game Pass comes out now, and it's like it costs the same amount as what I was paying when I was a kid. It costs like $10 or $15 a month, right, for these games. And it's like it's the same thing, only now you're getting like hundreds of games, right? Same with PlayStation Plus, and like now suddenly it's like it's a bad thing, right?
Right.
It's just so ridiculous.
I used to love going to Blockbuster, man. Pick out my favorite piece of candy. Or, you know, or there was like a home video store, but like I used to love that, man. Like I used to really enjoy that. We'd pick 2 games, like a co-op, both co-op, and you know, you would enjoy that game and put so much time into that game over the weekend because you knew, come, you know, after the weekend's over, you got to go home. One of you are going home. One of your friends are going home, and it was a wrap, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A couple games I got was like XCOM Legends and Ultimate Alliance and Blockbuster, because those were like co-op games.
Yeah, can I add something to my previous point? Real quick, like I wanted to say it because I put it in the chat, but you know, maybe some people are just listening; they don't see it. And again, I don't condone this because honestly, like people would get roasted, and like you know, it's mean to kids are mean to other kids. Bro, like in school, if you didn't have all the platforms, kids would like point and laugh at you and like say that your family was on welfare and shit. Like being like platform exclusive to one thing, like. Was not like some sort of badge of honor. It was like, oh, your family's poor. That's really sad. Like, and again, like, I'm not condoning this because it's fucked up. that kids.
What
would do
age
this.
group we talking here?
I'm talking like from when I was like 10 to like 14. Kids would do this shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't even have a choice what I got. Like I remember my dad just holding the NES out the window, a Super Nintendo, like hey, like waving out the window. I was like, "What a skirt gun!" I dropped my gun. I'm like, "What?" I didn't get to choose it.
Yep.
A lot of us didn't have a choice. Like, listen, I grew up, full disclosure, I grew up pretty poor. Like, I ended up getting consoles like 4 years like after they came out. Like, before, like I ended up getting a game. I remember I got a GameCube like 6 months before the Wii came out. Like, and that was my reality as a child. And like I would get made fun of, and that shit was honestly that was lame or whatever. But like I ended up playing like all these other exclusive games that at friends' houses and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's really what it was like. Like you don't got all platforms. What are you, poor? Like
little did they know they were running out to buy that Wii with a bunch of shovels.
Dude, I have to say though, like the most annoying thing that I find on Twitter is like I don't know when this happened, but it was like one of the worst things where suddenly if you have like multiple platforms, you're considered a neutral. You guys, we all get called that these days, and it's like it's just so weird because when I was a kid, it was like no, we didn't call anyone a neutral. It was like it was like you were proud to have all the consoles. It was like you were the cool kid if you had all the consoles. It was like a good thing to do. You like, and I mean to like own them and like them all, right? I loved my Genesis. I loved my Super Nintendo. I bought like a Saturn. I bought a 3DO. Like I was like, I love them all equally. And it's like, but these days it's just like people are like fake neutral and all this like random crap on Twitter. And I'm just like, dude, like you don't have to put labels on this stuff. Like you can just have all consoles and just enjoy all consoles, right? Like you don't need to be like, oh, that guy's a neutral, but like, oh, he leans more towards PlayStation, so he can't be a neutral. He's got to be a PlayStation fanboy, right? Like, just I don't know. I just can't believe that people go through such like thinking. Like,
according to social media, there's no such thing as a neutral, Paul.
Well, I know
because you have to have.
You have to have a hidden agenda.
Because I have to push back on these people.
Hold on, let me just get that out the way because he's been like I'm just now noticing this and I just want to get it out the way. That way I don't have no distraction. And it was BK Born Gaming dropped the $10 super chat. He says you're Sony baby. Shout out to the fam. Much love to you. Sorry about that.
Dude, he's a cool guy.
Oh, he's cool.
That's my guy. Cool guy. You seen what he wrote, right? You're welcome, Big One.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Come on, don't do this. Don't hang on it. Keep going.
What'd you say?
Keep moving.
Oh my gosh.
I'm bad. That was bad.
Wait,
what are you talking about, Paul?
Wait. But Mez, the one thing I hate though is somebody that owns all platforms, but really doesn't really game on those platforms.
Oh, but that's what I was about to say, right, because I find what you're about to say, because I know where you're going, absolutely ridiculous. Because being a quote unquote neutral and having a preference are not like something that like they don't contradict each other. Like, because but
Meds, that's the problem. I feel like I'm a neutral, but I prefer PlayStation.
You are a neutral. Exactly, but that's the thing. The thing is that everybody has a preference, and that's why everybody says there's no such thing as a neutral because everybody has a preference. But here's the thing: I am a neutral, and I'll explain to you why. Because I prefer PC. I'm a PC guy. However, I own everything except the PS5, and honestly, I don't own a PS5 because I know the games are coming. Honestly, that's really why, and also because it was really hard to find at first, and I just got annoyed trying to find one. So anyway,
you know the games are coming.
I have a preference. It's PC. However, it's not like I'm rooting for PC. Like I have the pom poms out for PC, and I'm like shitting. I just told you I don't have a PS5.
And I said, what you gonna play on it? Just what you waiting on? Like, what you
go.
I mean, Last of Us Part 1. Victor, don't do this because I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Don't do this because I'm gonna lose it. But my point is that like we all have a preference. However, like I don't have the pom poms out rooting for PC. I don't, I don't swallow, I don't gargle Gabe Newell nuts, and also like. I don't like go on PlayStation's Twitter account and shit on every announcement that they make, and Xbox is like I'm not cheering against anyone or for anyone, and that's what I mean by neutral. Like I don't care what happens, period, because at the end of the day, games come out, and if it's only here, and if I really, really want it, I'm gonna go get the platform. Like
you're gonna go
I
with the
don't care
game.
where it's-
Yeah.
Exactly. If I really care about a platform, about a game that's only on, I'm gonna go buy the platform. I'm gonna play the game. Like I'm not rooting. I don't have pom poms out for anybody, you know. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm a neutral. Like, bro, like.
And
I'm
you
a
know what,
PC guy.
Meds? You get a
Sure.
lot of flack for being a Xbox guy, but I think that Xbox stigma comes from is you're in the Discord and all you hear is pro Sony talk 24/7. So you feel the need to defend and be like, no, that's not true. And I
don't
get it.
defend. I just call it how I see it.
Well, not defend. You're just saying the facts.
And also, like, the thing is, what's so wrong with loving Xbox and PlayStation? Like, I love Killzone. I love Halo. Like, I love Ratchet and Clank.
Facts.
Like, I love Gears of War. Like, why do I have to pick a side?
Well, what I find to be so annoying on Twitter is that, like, even if you do you own all platforms and you are like quote unquote neutral, of course everyone leans towards a certain platform, right? And the thing is like what I find is that whatever you lean towards, that's what ends up being like your audience. That's the people that follow you the most. And it's like for me, like for example, like whenever like Xbox will do a lot of things that I like, right? I went to that Xbox show. There was a whole bunch of Xbox games that I thought were great. Games that I'm for sure going to be playing. I'm excited for the future of Xbox. And it's like, if I tweet stuff about Xbox, I'll certainly, I have an audience, of course, that of like some folks that will respond positively. But it's like, it's clear night and day where it's like, I tweet something positive about Xbox and then I'll get like these PlayStation fanboys that come in and like write like stupid messages on my tweet. And I'm just like, dude, like, it sucks, man. It just sucks. Like, I understand that I tweet a lot more about PlayStation than any other console, but it's like, I don't want an audience of people that just, that's all they consume, right? Like,
Right.
Where are the people that have like an open mind? Like, where's the people on Twitter where it's like, you can like one platform, but then if they tweet about another game that looks cool that just happens to be on another platform.
Won't grow on Twitter if you're a neutral. I've learned the hard way.
100%.
You will
You
be
have to
stagnant.
pander.
You have to pick a cool side group. If you don't pick the cool side, like either you're pro Xbox or pro, you cannot be in the middle and expect to grow. You'll grow, but you'll grow very slowly.
You'll grow very
if I
slowly.
go out tonight, after this podcast, if I make a video just like fuck Xbox making a stupid voice,
Yeah, you get a lot of views and stuff.
just watch it blow up.
That's the thing.
It's so simple.
Dude,
Look,
sorry.
no, I'm just babbling.
Dude, like, if you actually go to my Twitter and go back, like, maybe, like, 4 years and look at my tweets, I was, like, back then, I was tweeting 100% neutral. I think I had, like, equal amount of PC, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. I tweeted everything out, like, equally. And I, like, at some point, I just realized exactly what you were talking about, Blaze. I'm like, dude, like, you're not, like, it just, you don't gain traction, right? I noticed, I looked around at all the people that had audiences on Twitter, and I'm like, what's the one thing in common with them? They all pick a brand and tweet it, and that's what they do. They tweet about the brand, right? So I was like, okay, so you know what, like, these days I'm playing a lot more PlayStation, and I certainly, like, you know, I like that brand, you know, a bit more. I still had all the other platforms, but I liked it a bit more than the other ones, so I leaned more into that. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. I honestly was like completely shocked, where I was like, why did my tweets go from like 2 likes to like 30 overnight? Right? Like,
I don't know if Med said this. I think he was like touching on this, but like, look at the marketing for the Series X, right? They show like, boom, they start, you know, specs come out, 12 teraflops, the most powerful. This one eats monsters for monsters and for monsters for breakfast. And, you know, and then the very next thing we start seeing about Xbox is acquired. So like, you know, like every time I make the dumb decision to jump into a space, the number one topic I hear is 12 teraflops. You bought all these companies. Like, how do you feel if you spent $500 on a Series X and you have no games? How do you feel that you spent $500 on the most powerful console, but PlayStation still has the best looking games? Like, it's always the same topics mixed around. Like, you know, they just mix it up to make it sound different, but it's always the same. And on the PlayStation side, you know, it's not bad to say on us.
What
But
did they do at this show? Starfield wasn't the best looking game. So what did they do? They moved the goalposts. Oh, Forza Kill GT.
Forza's always been a beautiful,
I
good racer. Like the narrative, like Forza's always been a top tier racer that's looked good. Like Forza, like I don't understand what people like. Oh, Forza looks great. It's
like Forza looks better
great.
than this. Forza looks better. I'm like, dude, it's always gonna look better and better and better because game consoles gonna get pushed and pushed and pushed.
Yeah,
it'll look better.
And racing games are the best looking games.
That's
Yeah,
it. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Like,
I
come on.
honestly feel like Gran Turismo and Forza only exist to push like the power
visuals.
agenda.
That's it.
Like look at how dope these cars look, and they do it every generation.
Oh, we got
Dude,
12
I
T
remember,
flops.
like-
Look at the textures on the seats.
I was like so frustrated last year because I remember like I think it was like last August. That's when Psychonauts 2 came out, right? And I was pretty excited because I like Psychonauts. I played the original one on Xbox, and I was really excited to play number 2. I thought it looked really good, and I was actually excited because I thought to myself, you know what? I'm probably gonna love this game. I'm gonna be tweeting about it a lot. I'm gonna be posting, images and game clips of me playing and all this stuff. And then I was like, you know what? It's coming out on PlayStation, so like I'm gonna tweet, and my audience is gonna like react well to it because it's on PlayStation as well. But like, man, it was just brutal. I was so pissed. I remember like I gave up and I was like, I'm not gonna talk about Psychonauts 2 anymore because I can't handle these fanboys. I was like, the main thing that they were complaining about is because Double Fine had created a Series X version of Psychonauts 2, but they didn't create a PS5 version of Psychonauts 2. So everyone was like, oh, like they're gimping us, they're giving us the PS4 version. Like, why does Xbox get the better version? Oh, it's all because they bought Double Fine and they took away my PS5 version. And I was like, holy jeez, man, like, just give it a rest, man. Like, the game's great. That's just the bottom line. The game's great, man.
To a certain extent, they have a little bit of a point, but at the same time, a PS5 version was never promised. Like, they delivered on what they said they would. So,
it's like their deals like that all the time. Like even with in a different situation, Sega with Yakuza 7. That was like what Xbox Series X enhanced, and the PS4. Then there was just the PS4 version. PS5 version didn't come out until a couple months later, if I recall.
Yeah, it was the same situation for that too. But I don't know, man. I guess like what I'm most disappointed about is that the game is just really good, right? And sure, I actually played that game on the Series X because I wanted to have the best version to play, but like, had I not had a Series X, I probably would have got it for my PS4. And I'm sure, like, I'm positive on the PS4 it doesn't look bad. It's not like a graphically intensive game. It's not like you need...
What are we talking about here?
Psychonauts 2. Dude, Psychonauts 2 is like cartoon graphics.
And it's an awesome game.
Yeah.
Double Fine usually makes good games. I got no problem with them.
I saw a lot of people saying that they were going to boycott the PS4 version because there was no PS5 version.
I think the sales were good on PS4.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is that? Is that just what they signed up to do, and nothing more? Or?
They promised a PS4 version because at the time there was no Series X or PS5, and then in between the game coming out, they got purchased. Like, why would? It makes all the sense in the world. I get
it, but like you can't like let it run. Like, they don't have to be a PS5 version, but will it run like at a high resolution?
PS5. No, I think they unlocked the frame rate.
Honestly, I don't know.
Or did they not give a boost of FPS?
You remember that silly ass petition for Kojima that they did? The try stop.
Did you not hear that? No, did you not hear that though? That wasn't even a PlayStation fanboy. That was an Xbox dude.
Guy, yeah.
Which I was like, that's so weird to me.
It's like, about, like the power
why
of
pretend to be
media.
a different fanboy?
Bro, they're going
an actual fanboy, and then just
they're
like
going
make
out
a.
of control.
It's just
But
weird.
They did with the woman. Like the dude was trying to act like a girl. Well, you know, I ain't
oh my god, let's not go into all that, bro. That's a can of worms that we shouldn't open.
I'm gonna avoid that.
Yeah, we'll say that for Solid Cast. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, go, do that for Solid Cast. Not here. That's also a good topic for Solid Cast.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there you guys go, man. For an absolute dry week, we found a way to make it not only entertaining.
I'm surprised, Big Cloud, you didn't talk about the Master Chief Collection.
Oh,
thing.
well,
I know we talked about pre-show.
Wait, they didn't hear us though.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can bring that up, because that's a good point.
Yeah, which is weird. 343 is trying to introduce like these Spartan points instead of like their the passes that you earn through games. So now you have to like they're trying to basically introduce microtransactions within Master Chief Collection, which I just find weird that they're going back to a game that's good now that was bad during launch, but now is like really good and like fun, and they want to just introduce microtransactions within the game, which I just find weird.
You know why though? In the words
Their
of Mr.
player
Man,
base is
it's
spit.
all about the money.
You know, people that love that. There's people that love Infinite that play that primarily, and there's a lot of people that just, you know, if you look at Steam, they love Master Chief Collection. They played a lot, but I don't see the damn problem with that. Like, okay, they're putting microtransactions. Like, welcome to every game in 2020.
Yeah, but
like,
an old game though, like that's
is it
the
old?
issue.
That's an old game that's gonna look. But the difference is,
but like, yes,
it
has a player
game.
base, but why ruin the reputation?
Not the player base. Not even the player base. I'm just saying it's an old game that's super. It's like it's a go-to game. Like every time groups are around, like Master Chief is always.
No, and I don't disagree with that.
Like, why not keep supporting it?
But
like that's a way of saying we're gonna continue to support the game, even if it's a negative light. I get it.
Yeah, but you're continuing giving a negative light. They need a positive light, and right now they're not. Like 343, like everyone's dogging them now, and then add this on top of that. That's you're not getting. I see what you're saying.
They're not putting content. They're microtransactions in Infinite. That's absolute dog shit. There's no effort. Like their skins are trash. There's no effort into them.
You
and
got
you're
more
saying
skins
they're allocating time.
And when you go,
I
into,
get
like,
that. You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
Too, like,
yeah, you're right.
Just like they did terrible with Infinite. Now they're like, oh, well, let's go to our old, the Master Chief Collection, and try to do the same thing. And it's just like it doesn't make sense. Like,
no, you're right.
Then you're gonna have people have a pushback with that community as well.
Yeah. You're right. I'm not thinking. You know what? I'm thinking of like Master Chief Collection. I'm not even thinking 343.
Yeah.
Obviously that's their game, and obviously they have a major problem when it comes to Halo Infinite into adding content, and like the content they do have in the shop in the battle pass is very lackluster, and just period. So yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. They have no business touching that game until they finish their current new game. That game, fine, it's run good, people like it, people play it. They shouldn't even be worrying about that game. I agree.
Medina, you messing up the flow. Don't do that. You gonna do it anyway.
I mean, like, my opinion really is that I don't have any problems with microtransactions being in games. I don't have any problem with microtransactions being added to games. I think the only reason why this is a negative is just because of the situation that 343 is currently in with Halo Infinite. Like, they need wins. They need positive wins. They don't need things like this that's going to drag the reputation down even further. So to me, it's just the timing of this. Like, had they made this decision, like, I think the game came out in 2014, right? Had they decided 2018 or 2019 to do this, I don't think it would have gone down nearly as bad as what it is. But yeah, I mean, the weird thing about it is you almost get the sense that they are a bit tone deaf, because how would they not know that this would be so poorly received based on the current state of Halo Infinite? So I don't know, that in terms of timing, they just have no clue. I'm not sure why they would have introduced it now. At least there is supposedly that Certain Affinity, I guess, is going to be making the Battle Royale mode, right? Yeah. Which could actually reinvigorate Halo Infinite. And so to me, if I was running the ship there, I'd probably put this off for 12 months, right? Let's launch this. Maybe we'll actually get some positive press. We'll get a lot of the fans back for this Battle Royale. Once we're we're riding high, maybe then you can kind of sneak stuff like this in. But yeah, as of right now, timing is just very poor.
Yeah. Good point. Shout out to Perfect Image, the $2 super chat. He says, "Hey guys, what you think of Vita 2 in the works?"
Not happening.
Nah, it's not.
I'd love that, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
let's not even get into that until
Yeah,
because I'm not even gonna get into that.
I don't know why.
Blaze are huge Vita fans, and we're very hurt that it's over. So yeah,
they did show off a new headset and stuff for Sony.
Oh, that's coming next week, right?
The new monitors.
That's not PlayStation though, right? That's just
Sony as a whole.
Yeah.
It's just Sony. The thing is, anyone who thinks that a Vita 2 is going to be coming out, put that on pause for 2 years, man. We got PSVR 2 coming out next year.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that Sony's going to release 2 platforms? Like, think about it. PSVR 2 is a new platform coming out. You think they're going to release it?
Yeah, they're not going to
platform?
compete with. Why would they want them to? They don't want competition in their own circle, bro.
Yeah.
They want to sell one thing, and then the other thing is too, just like the Vita is like bringing up, that
yeah,
one of my
heartbreak.
Yeah. Like, let's not do that, bro.
It's just a good system. It just wasn't supported in the proprietary.
If you
SE.
ponies wanted a Vita, you should have supported the Vita.
Like I said, though, Meds, and I know you disagree with me. Meds, you disagree with me all the time, bro, but that was PS3 Sony.
Yeah.
PS4 Sony, they can put out blank discs and people are going to buy it. I'm telling you.
That's true.
A different type of Sony.
Yeah.
It's too much support nowadays.
The proof is in the Last of Us remake.
Well, yeah, man. They screwed themselves over with Vita, man. The proprietary memory cards that it had, and like the other thing too is like you could always tell from the very beginning that they always had like the B tier games, right? Like that's even like Ben Studio was making all the spin-offs, right? The great games, not gonna like knock the games.
Uncharted Golden Abyss was great. P4
That's why these consoles failed, because they kept treating it like a side piece. You can't treat a product that you're trying to sell people as a side piece, because if you do that, you know how people will treat it like a side piece. Like people are gonna react to the same way that you act. Like it is what and they killed the Vita anyway out the gate with the terrible fucking storage options. I was working at GameStop when the Vita came out, and all of my coworkers bought one, and I didn't, because I didn't want to pay for that crazy memory card price. And guess what? Most of the customers agreed with me, because that first week that we had the Vita, it was sold out. It was so hot. And then within 2 months, nobody was talking about the Vita.
One of my favorite games was like Soul Sacrifice. Dude, a lot of people didn't really like play like that. That was great. And Gravity Rush.
PSP, because we had the PSP Go. Then we had the PSP. Which one was the slide? Was that the Go? The slide?
No, that was the Go.
3000. That was the Go. Then you had a PSP 1000 or 3000 series. I was like, they never got that far with the Vita.
even as much as I love the PlayStation VR, like I'm actually like. So far, I'm a little bit disappointed in what I've seen with PSVR 2 from a software.
Really?
Well, from a software perspective, because hear me out, man. Because
I'm just curious. I was like, wow.
so the games look good. Okay, Walking Dead looked amazing. New Horizon looked awesome. But the thing is like, I can already tell that they're making this like a secondary device. Like we're not going to get like new entries for like big franchises on PSVR 2. It's going to be like exactly like PSVR, where there's going to be Sony will probably come out with like out of the gate a lot of games, 15, 20 first party games in the first couple of years. And then like that's why like I'm cool with them not having a Vita 2. Because if you're not going to give me, like, look at what Nintendo does, right? Do you think Nintendo put their second-rate games on the DS? No, dude. They put like full-fledged games. They put like they had like brand new Metroid games that would come out, brand new Kirby games that would come out, like full force, like as much energy in that as they put into their Wii and their N64 and everything else that. Right? Even Pokemon is like, a handheld franchise, basically, right? That's where it came from. Like, that's what Nintendo did. They were like, look, man, we're going to create this new handheld. We need flagship software that's going to continue to sell it. But Sony's not doing that. So, of course, I'm going to buy a PlayStation VR 2, but am I expecting I'm going to get, like, tremendous support from Sony first party 3 years into the life? No.
No.
Did you? I'm curious. Did you buy that Spider-Man Homecoming game that we got on VR? It's about where the webbing was like water.
I know which one you're talking about.
On PlayStation VR, did you play that?
I didn't know that existed.
It was like a Spider-Man. Was it a Spider-Man Home?
I played.
There was also Iron Man VR as well.
I played Iron Man VR and Batman.
Oh yeah, Batman Arkham VR.
There was a Batman VR.
But you didn't see the Spider-Man one?
I didn't play the
Homecoming.
Spider-Man.
To be
Oh,
fair though, that VR game wasn't very like promoted that much.
It
Well,
was
Well,
terrible.
dude,
I've
Iron
never
Man's
heard of
actually a
it.
good example though. Iron Man, when Iron Man got announced for PSVR, that actually gave me hope. Like that's what Sony has to do, right? It doesn't have to just be like a one-off thing, right? Like they should have had like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, like come out with whatever, Ghost Rider, like The Flash or whatever. Like come out with like just amazing games that are going to keep me coming back, right? So I guess we'll have to wait and see, but like, you know, if they announce like the next iteration of Killzone is like day and date coming out on PSVR 2, then maybe I'll change my mind, but until then it seems like it's going to just be like spin-offs and
you
and
want
so-
that
and-
next AAA like budget that's gonna push it all the way. You want that.
I want a flagship AAA game that comes out on PSVR.
What was that game? It was a Lost Planet on VR. Was that what it's called, yo? Lost Planet or something like that? I forgot.
Oh, there was Farpoint,
Farpoint,
which was like super awesome. The other thing that they could do though is they could have, if they're not going to put their flagship games on there, that what they could do is they could make it so that their flagship games that come out for PS5 have a PSVR 2 version.
Yeah.
I'm talking about day and date because like for PSVR 2 they had that for like, Wipeout is going to get a VR, but it's like 3 years after the game comes out, or right? Like VR updates, right?
That could be part of the plan, though, if you think about it. Remember we were talking about that before, the marketing strategy? Like it says, like, coming to PlayStation, when you brought that up, brother, coming to PlayStation 5, in development for PC. It could also be, like, in development for PSVR. You know what I mean? Like how they did at the Resident Evil showcase for Village. Or the state of play for Village. It said VR support in development. So, I mean, you could see it for sure, but it is kind of tough though. I don't know, like what.
It depends on the studios if they want to make, you know, VR content, because I just don't see Naughty Dog making VR content.
I don't think
that's also a thing. And Insomniac, maybe I could see them doing something. Even what Guerrilla, like they're technically not the main lead for the Horizon game, right? They're like kind of semi helping with that game, but it's Firesprite that's really doing it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the main studio, the same thing with Sucker Punch. I don't see them also really wanting to work on VR like that. Like I guess you just get smaller teams within those studios to work on something. I don't think you'll get something like to the caliber of a regular game from like a first party studio for PlayStation that's AAA.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the big problem, isn't it? Like, Valve made Half-Life Alyx.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting for, and outside of Half-Life Alyx, the best VR game is a remake of a game that came out in 2004, which is Resident Evil 4, by the way.
Yeah.
If VR is gonna explode, then somebody who has the market, you know, in their hands, like Oculus, and they haven't come out with anything crazy ever. And
I think
they have to come out with
their
something
licenses,
really, really compelling. Like we need, like, if it's not Sony, who's gonna do it, man?
Well, Sony also needs to, like, I've been saying this because they're going more with their games going into PC, that headset needs to also be compatible with PC and all that. So I definitely need to think so. Like that would be like really good, and it'll get a market share for PC game. Like I won't lie, it will make it very appealing for me because, like, listen, I have an Oculus, but seeing that an OLED and eye tracking, that's appealing. And depending on the price, I might get one, depending on all those factors.
It behooves Sony to do something like this because, as one of the stewards of the VR market, like, it's your responsibility, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they should put out like awesome VR games, and also you should drop them on PC as well, because obviously the market of VR is mostly on PC outside of your platform. So like I think they have a responsibility to put these games on PC, because how else is VR going to grow, period, you know? We need VR to grow because they're selling to such a small niche market. Like, you have to make it as big as possible, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talking about that. So that's like an awesome point because, you know, Sony is making a habit now of bringing out their games to PC, but yeah, they could do that for PlayStation VR too.
Yeah,
Why
like
not?
what's the Horizon game that's coming out?
Call of the Mountain.
Call the
Mountain?
Wild.
Oh,
Yeah, like bring Call of the Mountain to the bring Farpoint, bring Astrobot.
And also with those
I
games,
think that
make
will
that
happen with
headset
Astrobot.
PC compatible.
Like you're in his world, Hunter. Maybe you're playing as the Astrobot. You're like,
and it doesn't have to be day one. Like put it out on PSVR 2 and bring it to PC a year later. Like as long as it comes eventually, because again, this behooves Sony. Like it will grow the VR market. And
because then, like, you're getting controllers like native support with the DualSense. When I'm assuming when Last of Us comes and Spider-Man comes, you hook up a PlayStation 5 DualSense, you will have those features as well, most likely. So also have your headset be compatible with a PC.
Yeah.
And you're going to have more adopters of your VR headset on top of the games that you bring for VR to PC.
Yeah.
So it's like it makes more sense going that route.
Good points, guys. Good points. Definitely good points.
You want to wrap it up, Ryan?
Pretty much. I'm about to just make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I did miss something.
I think someone said perfect image.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
He donated twice. Okay, so he donated $2 super chats. So he donated one more. He said Vita 2 could work for the PS Plus and it's on Twitter
I guess like sharing the like screenshots, I guess. But PS Plus, like, I mean, I guess because like you have a catalog of Vita games as well as PSP
he's right.
games.
Yeah,
it could, but again, I don't know.
It depends. Like, I don't know if the market will accept a Vita 2. Like, who knows? Like, it could. Or
what if Sony treated it like their own Steam machine, like their own Steam Deck?
Like, I don't know. Like, I guess in a way.
Like if it's very hard games on it instead of spin-offs and other shit.
I mean,
and putting their lesser studios to make the games. Like, why was Ben making Uncharted? Why didn't Naughty Dog make it? And again, okay, cool. Okay, it's not worth Naughty Dog's time. Then if making a game for this platform isn't worth Naughty Dog's time, that means that the platform isn't worth your time as a whole. So don't bother with it. And maybe that's the mentality. If we're not gonna have Naughty Dog and Insomniac making games for the Vita 2, forget the Vita 2.
Also,
and if
like
that's what they think, okay.
Remember the promises? Like, oh, we're gonna get a BioShock game on the Vita.
He said we're making an Infamous too. Oh my god!
Yeah, never.
Like, got people hyped and it never happened.
Dude, at some point, Vita just became my JRPG machine. That was
yep.
Like,
An indie,
I remember
Indian JRPG.
Indies, yep.
Indie too. Yeah, I remember there was like years, man, 2-3 years of just like that's all I played on it. Not complaining because I like those games, of course, but like, dude, it's not going to appeal to a wide audience.
Dude, those Telltale games hit different on the Vita too. Remember them, Hunter? They hit different on the Vita back then. Yeah.
I
think that performance wasn't that good though. To be fair,
it was terrible, but the performance kind of was always kind of bad for those games back in the day.
Well, and then like another thing that kind of hurt their image was like the whole remote play with PS3, which they were like, "Oh, you could remote play," and it did not work.
That was false advertisement.
Yeah, and then the PS4 finally worked.
They made it look like you could be playing MLB The Show in your apartment, go to work, and then keep playing it on your Vita, and that was a lie.
Yeah. Yep. Like it's still on at home. You can hear the speakers. You can barely hear to the Vita. It was so bad. It was a bad.
No, it was laggy too. Like I think I tried it once and it was unplayable. Like to the point where it was an actual slideshow, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, PS4. It was more fluid. Granted, it's not, it's streaming and all that, but that hurt their image as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, because of all this, we've said a lot of good reasons as to why the Vita 2 should exist and as to why it shouldn't. And basically, here's the scorecard. Why should it exist? Because we want it. True. Why shouldn't it? Because they don't want it. Like, and they win. We're not gonna get it. It's not happening.
There you go. Guys, that's episode 195. Man, show was fire. Again, A show that had literally no topics. Look at it. Like Hunter was over here confused. Like, how are they gonna talk about it? There ain't nothing to talk about. And we end up having one of the best conversations. I gave her a conversation. That's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But nah. You guys, shout out to everybody who came through. Had almost 200 people in the chat. I see y'all coming through. Make sure you hit that like button if y'all enjoyed the show. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much for joining us. Big shout out to Mr. Keanu Reeves, a.k.a. Jay Medina, coming back for the show. This man really derailed the podcast when he came on. I'm like, yo, wow.
That was you guys.
No, when you came in here, you had your hair over the background. I'm like, dude, I don't even see Meds. I see Keanu Reeves with
I didn't even say anything. That was you guys. I blame
I'm
you.
like, yo, did Keanu Reeves just join our podcast? Keanu! So, anyway, we unplugged him for the Matrix. He's going to go reinsert himself back in there. So, meet up with Mr. Agent Smith and all of them. But
I appreciate the invite, Ryan. I'm always glad to come back home. Honestly, this is a much easier podcast to do for me than the Solid Cast because it's at 5 p.m. And by the time Solid Cast comes on, I'm already sleepy. So,
yeah, everybody's
like,
sleepy.
I was like, yo, these guys are talking some great topics. I got energy. Let me hop in there. So I did. And I appreciate you allowing me to. So thank you. And yeah, great conversations. It's always a great time here on the RGT podcast. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, thank you, Red Hood. Thank you, Paul and Blaze 4K, the PS4 slicer himself. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, you better chill. He might actually use that.
That thing ran out of batteries, bro. Don't be scared.
I know. Stop like him through. People were like, yo, he doesn't know how to use a saw. I'm like, no, the battery.
It's like, no, yeah, the battery's done.
Shout out to Blaze, man. Make sure you guys pull up the Solid Cast Wednesday. Hopefully, I should be able to make it. If not, then I'll be there the next week. But you know how it is. And of course, got Red Hood 420.
Yep.
The big shot over there in Twitch.
Oh my god,
this
guy.
Go
I'm
ahead,
not
man.
a big shot.
Ever since the Amber Heard stream, man, he done took
Oh
off.
boy, here we go.
Go ahead,
Anyways, a couple things. One, I got to see Top Gun Maverick finally. Probably my favorite movie this year. Really, really good film. See the original. Watch this one. Deserves the praise and all that jazz because I was actually shot with the camera work there and them, using like actual jets and all that throughout the film. I thought that was really, really cool. I'm actually probably gonna stream later today just because I couldn't stream earlier today because of seeing Top Gun Maverick. So that'll happen, and then I'm still doing that video game essay on Death Stranding. It's gonna take a minute to say the least, but make sure to check that out, especially Twitch. So, yeah.
Okay, I could have sworn you said your movie of the year was Lightyear, but I guess
dude, I watched that movie. Dude, don't watch that movie, bro. That movie was annoying.
I had to get you. I had to stop.
And the thing is, I actually like some Pixar movies, surprisingly. So it's like I don't know, that movie just wasn't that good.
All right, there you go. Obviously, we had a redemption arc. It was Batman, the Batman. So there you go. You had that.
No, but Top Gun's my number one.
The Batman is a terrible film.
No.
Here we go.
Let me hear this for this goes live.
Yeah. Let's start this, but
last but not least,
finish it. The movie's trash.
last but not least, we got Hunter, aka Next Gen Gamer or Next Gen Player. Tell them where to find you, brother. Always a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Yeah, man, it was a good week. Thanks a lot, guys. Blaze was saying earlier in the show that he loves people. He's got mad respect for people that just have Twitter. So that's what he said. I'm just kidding. He was talking about influencers and like insiders and all that. But yeah, Twitter is my main thing. I don't do a whole lot aside from this show and playing video games and going on Twitter. So yeah, you can check me out there. Just go. It's Next Gen Player. And I don't know. Aside from that, man, like playing some good games the past week. Like I just beat the Quarry. I had 2 characters die brutally in the game, which was pretty cool. I think I might actually do the movie thing. I want to because because the thing is like they have if you bought like the collector's edition or whatever, you can get the like extra gore mode. So I have that, right? So I'm like, I'm like, I might as well pick, because you can. There's like 8 characters in the game, right? I was like, I can have all 8 characters die in like the most brutal way possible. I'm sure it won't be that long too, because if they're gonna die, then I'm sure they're gonna die like within the first few chapters of the game. So, anyways, the game's good, man. I liked it. It's not as good as Until Dawn, but
not as good. That's hold account. Well, I mean, Red Hood was playing.
Yeah.
He said it is up there, but it's
no,
not,
no,
you
yeah,
know.
no. I
It
think
doesn't
it falls. It falls in like the last
Yeah.
part.
Oh, okay.
What
So
Paul
the
said,
speed.
what Paul said, everyone that has played the game is saying the same thing, at least from my experience.
yeah, it just kind of falls apart at the end. I think, like, I guess the thing that kind of like irked me is like, for Until Dawn, I felt like I had more like agency over the, like more agency over the characters. Like in
Yeah.
this game, like, I don't know, it was just like so weird because I went, what is it? It's like 10 chapters. I went to chapter 9 and I had nobody dead. I
It's
thought
pretty easy to like get everyone to survive. The only one I would think it was when you're in that area with like kind of like the prison cell esque. Like I messed that one up. That was the only time. But then I redid it and like pretty much it's pretty easy.
Yeah, dude, that's where things fell apart for me.
Yeah.
I had everybody alive until the prison part, and then I had what was it? Jeez, man, I like, because you get lies in that game too, which is pretty nice, right? So
Yeah.
I think I ended up killing like 5 people, but then I brought 3 of them back. It was just like, I think at the very end they had like all these different ways that everyone can just die. Like I picked like routes that I thought was like, this is gonna be safe for my character, and then like, nope, knife to the head, or like arm bitten off or whatever. But anyways, like,
So
I'm gonna play it again and try to keep everyone alive. But
So you say it's not as fleshed out as Until Dawn. Like, for example, you know when you guys go to the watchtower or whatever, and you guys find a flare gun and like you choose to keep it. If you keep it, you can save.
I think it was
Matt,
like way
or-
easier to die and Until Dawn. It seemed like, whereas like this one, it just took a long time for that to really happen. And then there wasn't
Yeah.
even like the post credit. There wasn't really like a post credit scene like Until Dawn. So it was just
Yeah.
the podcast thingy at the end was just not very good.
Yeah, I didn't like that aspect. I was just like, whatever, because I like the interviews of like all the other.
Wait, did you say there was a podcast in the game?
In the end, yeah,
In
they're
the-
like,
yeah,
oh,
very
like kind
end.
of going over the events or whatever, and the
Oh.
evidence you collect.
Yeah,
to,
I
like,
think
either
yeah,
exonerate the teens or not exonerate the teens or whatever.
yeah, which
Wow.
I guess it's like the cool thing is that you do collect evidence, so like the podcast will change depending on what evidence you find. But like, it's just a not very interesting podcast. Like, I just tuned out and I was like, whatever, man. Like, I'll just brew myself a coffee or get a beer or whatever. 'Cause
Yep.
there's like, I don't want to listen to any of this. So yeah. Well, the only thing that sucks about that game too is like, there's no new game plus, which was really disappointing because I missed like a handful of the evidence, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just start new game plus and collect the 2 things I missed. But nope.
Never got an option. Wow.
Well, when you it's so weird. When you beat it, you can go back to any chapter you want, right? So there is a chapter select,
But it doesn't save. I'm guessing is what you're saying.
well, as soon as you pick a chapter, then
You have to continue forward. I think
you have to
right?
continue all the way into the end, and there's no more
Yep.
chapter select.
Oh.
So I missed like I missed evidence in chapter 1.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
I was
so
like-
annoying.
It was like, so I got to play the whole game again. Like, I don't know. It just sucks, man. They should have.
Yeah,
just
I
had
missed
new game
one
plus.
evidence as well. I think it was chapter 1 or something like that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that was like super disappointing. And then the other game that I've been playing a lot is Shredder's Revenge. I think everyone's playing that game pretty
Good
much.
game.
And yeah, man, everyone's got to play that. It is so good, man. I played the Ninja Turtle game in the arcade back in the 90s or whenever it came out, and man, it brings back those vibes.
Oh, we all
like
need
crazy.
to link up, do a party with it, play it, stream.
Yeah,
it. That'd be fun.
I love like the party system in that game.
Yeah.
It's so easy, man. It's so easy. Like, you literally, there's 16 different chapters, and you can go to any single chapter you want. You press L1, and boom, it gives you a list of everyone that's playing that specific chapter, and then you just jump right in. And the cool thing about it too is that I guess like anyone who joins in gets that progression. Because I remember like I think I was on like chapter 14, and I wanted to try the online, and I was like, okay, I jumped onto somebody else's game, and I thought, okay, when I get back to my world after this level finishes, I probably won't have 14 beat. I got to go back and beat it again. But no, dude, I beat it on somebody else's game. The trophy for chapter 14 popped. When I got back, it was unlocked, and I could go to 15. I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's just such a fun game, man. Like, definitely get that. And I don't know what else, man. Oh, last thing is hit the like button, dudes. We got 81. We're always like hovering around the 100.
Oh yeah.
There's always way more than 100 people that show up, right?
So, yeah. Like during the pod.
Yeah, I saw like there was 150 or 140 like just
we had like
ago.
180 at one point. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
everybody came through. We appreciate y'all. Hit that like button though if you enjoyed the stream. Real tight. It helps the stream, helps us out, helps the show get out there. Obviously, you already know when we come back, but we appreciate y'all. Hunter, again, always a pleasure to have you on the show, brother. Always a pleasure. And of course, Red Hood, Medina.
But hopefully we got that news for God of War, which we could talk about Friday.
I know.
Which will probably be a crazy episode.
It's gonna be interesting because if it ain't, you already know what's gonna happen. We just got.
Oh man, everyone's gonna roast
everybody's gonna just have fun with it. Shout out to Perfect Image again, dudes. Dropped another super chat. Dropped the $5 super chat. Says, who's ready for 007? He said, who's ready? 007 and my 8th daughter wants to start streaming. Can anyone help?
Wait.
I guess your daughter wants to start streaming.
Let me see.
I suggest watch a video on how to set up OBS, and also don't let your daughter stream.
Yeah, I think that breaks the turn.
Definitely supervise that.
Doesn't it have to be his channel? Technically, like, yeah, she could stream, but
because you have to be 13 to even open up an account on any of these websites.
You have the supervisor like crazy.
Yeah, and it depends. Absolutely. Like, some of these consoles have built-in software that you're able to stream with it, but usually the go-to is either OBS Studio or Streamlabs.
Yeah.
So those are the two go-to, which are kind of like there's some good tutorial videos on that.
There's a great YouTuber named EPOSVOX, EPOSVOX, and if you want to know literally anything about streaming, whether you're advanced or beginner, subscribe to that channel and check out his vids.
There you go. Do you want to drop like her channel? I mean, you can drop her channel in the chat. It don't matter. We can definitely help out a bit there if you wanted to do that. But if not, I mean, just follow the steps. And the last super chat for the day was BK Born Gaming. You want to read that one, Medina?
Yes, sir. Brooklyn Born Gaming. You got a good group here, Ryan. Keep this core. You hear that, Paul? Red Hood is my guy.
He streams. So
yeah, BK Born is cool. You could definitely. That's a guy to follow as well. He's a good guy too. He interacts with Erica in the Discord and everything. He's a cool guy. So for sure, appreciate the super chat, brother.
Shout out to BK.
Take us home, Ryan.
Shout out to everybody. See you guys on the next one. That is episode 195 in the books. You guys be blessed. Y'all be easy. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until next time, Big Cloud out. Obviously, Paul, Hunter. Obviously, Hunter, Red Hood, Blaze, Meds. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, I'll be good.
PC Master Race, baby.